Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 20-Sided Story. This is probably the last week that will be a 20-Sided Story. I think next week I can change our name. So we have some in the works. Um, gonna tell you about those when we have them because I don't want to jinx anything. Just be on the lookout for our social medias. All right, we're here. We're back 2 weeks in a row, which is great. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get started with the recap because I want to get into this. So, in our last session, the party had found out that Pildor Swift Dream, aka Xavier Synax, was the true culprit behind the attacks in Lake Peak and Barrett Square. And so they confronted him, and he escaped. But right before he escaped, they were able to get a confession out of him and confirm that he was the culprit behind all of this. And so they were able to talk to the Council of Stagham and finally convince them to help. And the Council of Stagham offered up the Winged Queen, the fastest airship in their arsenal, crewed by Captain Ace and her crew, one of which being Tommy Tierbricks, the father of Kelpie Tierbricks, and as well as Gila and what was his name? What was his name?
Regard.
Ricard. Thank you, Ricard.
I'll never forget Ricard.
But on the first night of the trip, Atticus was tricked by Ricard, who ended up being a Rakshasa, to get to the top of the boat, and told him to jump off the ship in an attempt to, or not in an attempt, but flying by. Nearby was the newest member of our party, Ray, on her Drake, Moondrake, Tiny, seeing a man fall off a ship trying to get there to help him, but Atticus was able to get himself back onto the ship, and then battle ensued. The party was able to eventually figure out how to damage the Rakshasa, and was able to take him out pretty low on his health. And so he jumped off the ship, was pushed off the ship, and then plane shifted to a different plane of existence. And Atticus was able to return to his own wits after nearly felling Pharaoh. Very close. Maybe should have happened. And, and now they had to question Ray, the woman who flew on a drake to get onto their ship, and eventually found out that Ray was the sister of Benjamin Firestar, aka Ben Dusor, right? Is it how you pronounce that? Yeah, Dusor, which was Avra's good friend from the Alchemist Age Academy who perished in the attacks on Barrett Square. Ray, finding out about this, decided to join the party as they told her that they were on their way to confront the man responsible. Over the next week of travel, they got to know each other more. People talked with one another. Kelpie had some good talks with her father. However, he seemed to not really want to talk about what happens once they got to their destination. It seemed that he was conflicted internally as to what should happen there. But the conversations were overall good. Like I said, everybody got to know each other a little bit more, and the rest of the week went without a hitch. However, as they approached the land of Samtia, the other continent right next to Ara, a huge storm system appeared very suddenly and ravaged the ship, completely snapping a mast, ripping off sail ties, and rendering the ship useless as the gems that levitated the ship were cracked by lightning and sent plummeting to the earth. With some quick thinking, with some featherfall spells, the party and all of the crew of the Winged Queen were able to be saved as the ship crashed, probably about like 50 to 100 feet right off the shoreline, and the rest of the party was able to land right on the edge of the shore with waves uh, coming up and lapping at your ankles. The rest of the storm system still raged all around you, but there was like probably a 600 to maybe even 1,000 foot diameter circle that seemed to be untouched by the storm system, almost like the eye of the storm. And in that little eye, as the party approached, and especially after they landed, they saw buildings made out of wrecked ships and salvaged pieces of shipwrecks to be made into makeshift huts here and there. People came out of these huts as they heard another ship crash and saw the people land, and an orc man came up to you, tall, beefy. He had a kind of a pirate hat that seemed to be, or a captain's hat, I mean, that seemed to be tattered and torn, and all of their clothes seemed to be tattered and torn and unwashed, and it seemed like some of them had been there for quite a while. And he approached you and the rest of the party and said, "Welcome to hell." And that is where we left off. So, there you stand on the shore of this beach. Like I said, the waves are hitting you. The waves are quite big, but close to the edge of the shore where you are, they're, pretty small. Just, you're probably ankle deep in the water. And the storm, as you can see, rages on all around you. However, it just doesn't seem to be moving, which is quite strange. Something that none of you have ever really experienced in your times traveling. There seems to just be this, like I said, like kind of almost 1,000 foot diameter circle where the storm just isn't affecting the island or the beach. And all around it is just high winds and rain that is blowing so hard it's horizontal, and lightning and thunder, and it sounds like you're in the middle of the storm, but right where you are, there's really just kind of a light breeze. And so the orc man is standing in front of you, and other people are starting to come out of these huts. You actually see the orc man, he just kind of gestures to his left, and some men and women, also still wearing tattered clothes, immediately start going into the ocean and swimming out towards your shipwreck. Yeah, that's where we are. So you're standing in front of him, and he's looking at the rest of you. What do you do?
When you say hell, do you mean literally or figuratively? Because it's...
That's a good question.
That
We call this place hell. It's not actual hell, I guess, as far as I know. But this is what we have been calling hell for the past, at least as long as I've been here, a little over a year now.
How did you get here?
The same way you did. All of us did. And he gestures to everybody, and you see everybody kind of approaching. There's all different races of people, all different ages. Some seem to be upper class people who maybe were on transport ships. You see military garbs on some of them. You see what probably would be pirate uniforms on the other. None of them seem to all be from the same location. They all seem to come from all different walks of life. But the one thing they do have in common is just dirty, tattered clothes, ripped and torn either by the storm or just from wear and tear over time. And he kind of gestures to everybody and he says, "Same way you did. This is how we all ended up here. We're not exactly sure what's going on or how long this has been happening. Like I said, I've been here over a year, and no one's able to get out."
Is anyone from our group or crew hurt, or did everybody?
With the Featherfall, everybody seems to be doing just fine. Captain Ace actually steps up and greets the orc, and she puts out her hand, and they kind of clasp wrists, and they say, "Hello, I'm Captain Ace. That was my ship, the Winged Queen. Why, and she kind of gestures to and he says, well, the only food and supplies that we get are from the shipwrecks that land themselves here. So, this is kind of practice. Once somebody shipwrecks here, we go out and we try to salvage as much as we can. It's the only way we've been able to survive so long." And Captain Ace kind of nods, and they look over at Rickard and Gila, and Rickard and Gila just nod, knowing immediately what they want, and Rickard and Gila start swimming back out there too. The orc man kind of looks at the rest of you, and he says, I'm sure you maybe need some rest, or I don't know, time to kind of digest what's going on. Please follow me. And he gestures to the ship that I think I described last time. It's about halfway sticking out of the ground, almost looks like the Titanic. The half of it sticking out of the ocean, but it's in the sand. Very large ship, looks to be a transport vessel called the Grand Sea Hall, and it has been, the deck of the ship has a huge hole in it that now kind of acts as a doorway, and if you follow him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you follow him, you walk in through this doorway. The planks of wood, like he said, he's been here for over a year. Even though there's like a light breeze right now, there is the occasional rain that hits you. And so this wood seems to be pretty damaged, seems to be rotting in certain places. And you walk in through this big opening in the deck, and the ground is all sand. And you see tables made out of giant ship wheels that have just like planks of wood put on them, and stools and chairs made of just crates that are emptied, and beds and hammocks. Usually, you look around on the walls, and there's tons of hammocks. People have just made a bunch of hammocks from sails and fishing nets. And it seems to be that they don't really want to be sleeping on the sand, and so hammocks just kind of line the walls. As you walk in, it's strange because it's a little disorienting. It feels like you are walking sideways in a ship as you look up, and the ceiling goes about 50 to 60 feet up to the front of the ship and curves to where the bow is at the top. And it's pretty epic looking. It's almost awe-inspiring, but also a little terrifying. And he gestures to one of the tables, one of the larger ones right in the middle, that looks like it must be the ship's steering wheel from the Grand Sea Hall itself. It's super large. It's about 10 feet across. And just planks of wood that have been put over top of it and just tied with rope to give it somewhat of a surface, and crates all around it. And he kind of sits down and takes off his hat and puts it on the table, starts rubbing his temple. As he takes off his hat, you realize that he's bald except for small tufts of gray hair that's kind of patchy around his skull. Seems like, in his everyday life, normally he would probably shave that hair, but as he's been living here, it's just been allowed to grow in this like patchy, kind of like moss-like pattern almost. And he just kind of rubs his bald head and looks to the rest of you, and he says, my name's Holix. I'm kind of, I don't know, the de facto leader around here. I was the captain of the Grand Sea Hall, and actually, Ray, I'm not sure if you've actually taken passage on the Grand Sea Hall. You might have, but it's definitely a ship that you have heard of before. Captain Holix is not necessarily a name that rings a bell, but the Grand Sea Hall It's a very large transport vessel and has been used as such for a very long time. And so it's kind of well known amongst the E2C channel. And so it's definitely a ship that you've heard of. And but you do kind of think, and it's been a little over a year since you've heard of this ship and its whereabouts, which is not uncommon. You figured you hadn't just run across its path, but now it's kind of putting two and two together.
Um, so kind of when he says that, I'd love to like kind of, slink my way to the back because
Okay.
I don't think that I ever really held passage financially
Yeah.
on the ship. So I'd love to kind of just like make myself a little bit like scarce
For
and maybe
sure.
back my way out of because I don't want to cause any trouble for,
Yeah.
for them to like feel welcome and safe. So I would love with this time that I have Tiny
Mm-hmm.
to kind of like see myself out and be like cool, they're doing their thing, and like maybe try to do a lap around the land and
Totally.
get a feel for kind of how big things are and like what the configuration is.
100%. Yeah, well, you easily can do that. I won't even make you roll a stealth roll. He's not necessarily like it's
Yeah.
it's very lax and casual, the atmosphere
Yeah.
of this
I don't
place.
think he'd recognize me.
Yeah, especially because you were a
What would happen
stowaway.
if he did? But
Uh-huh,
like
yeah.
I feel like awkward.
Totally, 100%. And so you back out of the ship, and no one really gives you mind, unless I will have you roll a stealth roll if you don't want your party to notice that you've kind of slinked away.
No, if they do see, as long as they don't try to stop me.
Yeah. So yeah, you slink away easily, and then yeah, we'll jump to you and Tiny here in a minute. As you get on, he just kind of he probably, I mean, he might have walked in there with you. The opening was wide enough if you wanted him to, or he might have he's probably pretty used to, as you walk inside structures, like just kind of chilling on the outside. And so you find Tiny, and he's kind of like shaking a little bit in fear of what's going on. Storms are not something that drakes like. It's something that hinders their flight quite a bit. And so he seems to be looking around, but then when you come up to him, he takes his large head and kind of hits your chest, almost causing you to get off balance a little bit as you give him some scritches and get on his back and take off and start flying around. And yeah, we'll get back to you here in just a second. For the rest of you, you see a couple other people start to walk over to the table with Captain Hullix. You see a large Goliath woman. She is wearing a Stagham military uniform. Seems to be an officer's uniform. That's been pretty tattered. The sleeves are off. It's kind of more so just been turned into like a fancy vest. And she comes up and just kind of stands behind Captain Hullix. You see an elven woman who doesn't join the table, but you notice her because she sticks out. She is a very upper class individual who seems to be pretty disgusted by everything that's going on around here. She has super long red hair that almost like shines, almost has this ethereal glow about it. And she has these very long, ornate green and like seafoam green robes that have a nice like silver embroidery on the edges of the robes. At least that's what they used to look like. Once again, super tattered, especially around the bottom. But it seems like out of everyone here, her clothes have maintained the closest visage of what they used to be. And she's over at one side at another table, just kind of like looking over at all of you, very curious. And you see her reach into a satchel, and she gets out a notebook and starts writing in it. You also see another orc, a younger orc man, who comes up and sits next to Captain Hullix and kind of nods to him. And he has black hair that's been kind of slicked back and shoulder length, and very physically fit. And he has no shirt, just like tattered pants on him, and just a strap that holds his sword on his back. And he kind of nods to Captain Hullix and looks to the rest of you, and he says, "My name is Dorvo. I'm his son. Nice to meet y'all." And Captain Hullix points back to the Goliath woman behind him, and he says, "That's Riva. She's she kind of makes sure people stay in check around here. And yeah, that's everybody else is, I don't know, not very talkative. We're kind of the ones that, or at least have been trying to figure out what's going on here." And you see Dorvo kind of look to Captain Hullix when he says that and rolls his eyes a little bit. And yeah, so those are the people that you kind of see. You see some other people. You see a small human woman with what looks like to be maybe her daughter, who's over in one corner, just kind of talking to her daughter, playing a game. It seems to be, and then there was other people that you saw out and about in their own little huts. But yeah, just kind of wanted to describe the scene for you. So you're all sitting here with Captain Hullix and his son Dorvo, and Riva just standing behind with her arms crossed. And yeah.
So what have you figured out?
Captain Hullix he pops his neck. "Well, this storm is everlasting. We've yet to see it dissipate. We've tried to send people west. What is the? I want to get the name proper. We've tried to send people west over Lake Vildren. Try to get them to cross that to go to Wolfside, but nothing. We've tried to have people head south, get to Roartide, and maybe to Falluin itself. Nothing. And I mean, there's nothing north other than the mountain and Devis. But anyone that we've sent out in the storm, well, and then Dorvo kind of looks up and finishes the sentence for his father. They haven't come back. We've lost a good chunk of people to that.
Maybe they made it through the storm.
If they did, they didn't send help, that's for sure." And Riva, standing behind, just kind of shakes her head and says, "They didn't." And she points over to... well, actually, you wouldn't be able to see it from in here, so she doesn't, but she kind of gestures into a general direction. Sometimes the storm... Sometimes it spits him back out. Captain Hullix kind of nods at that.
Have you been to Devis?
No, as far as I know, it's just ruins up there. I mean, we've tried to reach civilization. You know, there's no real need to head north, especially when I've kind of, like I said, I'm kind of the de facto leader around here, and I've tried my best to dissuade anybody else from leaving. I'm tired of burying bodies in the sand.
Devis is where we were headed.
Why were you heading there?
We think somebody might be hiding there, which, I mean, as far as you're concerned, may also mean somebody who could reach out for help.
Okay, well, good luck. I'm not going to stop you, but I advise against it. You're not going to survive out there, not in that storm.
Is Devis located within the eye of the storm, or is it past the edge of the storm?
Oh, Devis is probably 5 days ride, or 5 days walk north of here.
Is it like within the storm like eye, or is it would we have to go through the storm to get to it?
The storm eye is only like 1,000 feet,
Okay.
about 1,000 feet wide. So, but he looks at you and he says, "Oh no, you'll definitely have to go through this storm to get there."
You ever hear of Pildor Swift Dream?
Feel like I. And you actually roll a. As you say that, Atticus, roll a perception check.
8.
8. Yeah, you see him look at you and he says, "Yeah, I feel like I've heard that name before, but I can't place it."
That's what we're looking for.
Right. Okay. Well, listen. I know you just arrived here, but it isn't as simple as walking out of this eye. The lightning is, it's strange. It almost seems like it's targeted. I've never seen a storm exude anger before, but this is an angry storm. It feels alive and rage-filled, and we've only survived because people keep wrecking here, and we've had supplies last us, but I don't know. And Dorbo speaks up and he says, we can't just wait here anymore. We're just waiting for death. And Holix leans back and says, "Son, and then they start to like kind of bicker amongst themselves a little bit. It seems like this is a argument that has happened time and time again. I won't go through the whole argument, but basically Dorvo is just really like, he's sick of being here. He's sick of not trying anymore. He doesn't understand why his father is so against people leaving, and his father is like, no one's ever returned. Those who have returned were thrown at us, and their corpses disheveled and singed with, electricity, and so they just kind of bicker amongst themselves for a second. And, it gets a little heated, and Holix just like slams his fist on the table. "Son." And Dorvo kind of like looks at the rest of you and realizes that he kind of just undermined his father in public. Just kind of like nods and leans back and doesn't say anything else. While this conversation and this argument is happening, Ray, you are on Tiny and kind of flying above. So are you wanting to just kind of like go on the outskirts of this like little circle and just kind of see what you can see?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to get like the bigger picture.
Totally. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
I also get to add my proficiency bonus because I do have favored terrain on coasts. Does that
Amazing.
count?
Yeah, of course. This is a
Cool.
coast for sure.
Thank you, level up on the first game.
Yeah, yeah, you are all
Um,
level 6 now. That's correct.
That would be a 9.
A 9. Okay. So
Not bad.
so as you are circling above everything, first of all, people are watching you. I mean, everybody who's not in the ship is like, their eyes are on you. This is something that they're not familiar with, and so they're definitely all looking towards you. You start your trip off by heading over the beach or over the water. I mean, as you do, you see Gila and Rickard with some other people bringing in crates and like kind of trudging through the waist deep water onto the beach. You see them all bringing, there's like 3 or 4 people that are like tag teaming one of the sails that they're all bringing upwards. And as you continue, you get further and further out into the water, and the rain gets harder and harder, and the wind starts blowing Tiny a little bit more. He lets out a screech of kind of fear as you kind of guide him to turn and stay on the edge of this as much as you can. And as you fly around, you realize that, as I described, there is about 1,000-foot diameter where the winds aren't super hard. The rain is more of a trickle, and there seems to be no lightning that you can visibly see striking within that area. But the further you go out, the higher the winds are. It becomes very hard for Tiny to redirect himself, and at sometimes you even have to go into makeshift barrel rolls because the wind blows him so hard that he twists and turns, but then is able to lay out again and kind of catch the wind. And you go along the whole ring of this 1,000-foot diameter. Everywhere you go, is the same thing. And Tiny keeps turning back because he's not able to handle it. Even like 50 feet out into this storm is not able to really handle the flight of it all. And the last thing that you do is you kind of look up, and what's different about this storm is that usually when you're in the eye of a storm, which I don't necessarily, you might not have actually seen an eye of the storm before, but you've traveled over water and on ships. You've heard sailors talk about hurricanes and high storms. And in the eye of the storm is supposed to be a cylindrical tube almost of free space that just goes straight up. But instead, it's more of a dome. And as you go to the top of this dome, where you feel like you should be able to fly above the storm itself, it's not necessarily rain and lightning and thunder, but the wind is so hard as you try to fly above the storm and out of this little dome that Tiny just like at one point he's like flapping his wings as hard as he can, and you're just not moving. You're just like staying in one spot until eventually he has to kind of dive back down. So it seems what you've discovered that instead of an eye of the storm, which is what this normally would feel like, it's more so that there's like a permanent super rough storm with like a little dome in the middle where it's kind of unaffected. It's super strange, doesn't feel natural, something you've never heard of before. But with a 9, that's what you get.
Okay.
So what do you do after your flight? After your flight around, that's probably took you about 20-ish minutes maybe to really kind of gauge everything.
I feel like that is significant enough to go. I'm gonna take Tiny back down to the little structure that all my crew was in.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna just like. I'm assuming this is happening simultaneously to them, like receiving this information.
For sure. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go back down and kind of like I'm not gonna like burst in back to them, but I'm gonna kind of leave Tiny outside, kind of same way I left. I'm gonna kind of re-enter a little bit stealthily, just so I can.
As you land and start to head towards that main building, you hear you look, and on the side of the building, kind of leaning, is this human man with long black hair and a scraggly black beard, and he seems to be wearing like dark leather clothes that once again are super tattered and sand covered. And he's leaning against the building, and he kind of like nods you over.
Oh, I'm for sure. Have I met him before?
Make a perception check. Yeah, perception check.
And okay, so here's the thing: does perception? Hang on, sorry.
No problem.
I have favored terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Is any that is a scandalous feature.
What are you
It is
talking about?
very specific. It's very specific. So I just reread it,
Mhm.
and I think that I didn't get. It says your proficiency bonus is doubled for proficient skills when you make an intelligence or wisdom check related to it. So I think I have to be proficient in the skill in order to roll my doubled proficiency bonus.
Are you not proficient in perception?
I'm not,
Mm.
so that's my bad.
Well, no,
I'm
no. I would
yeah.
still say that you could. I mean, the way I would read that is that it's not doubled, but you would at least get to add it to, rolls regarding that. However, this is more of a roll for the person, and
Yeah,
doesn't.
and then that
yeah,
was going to be, after
exactly.
I reread that, I
Yeah.
was like, it's not terrain, technically.
Exactly. Yeah. So
But it's within the terrain.
Yeah, it's within the terrain, but you're trying to dissuade
But
something
I'm-
from the actual person. So this will just be
I-
a straight roll.
For sure also have, like, +0 wisdom. So. Or not wisdom, charisma. Okay. Perception check, not proficiency bonus. Oh. 19.
19. Okay, so you don't recognize this individual,
Okay.
but you do get a sense of, like, looking at his clothes. He's wearing, like, combat leather armor, but with no signets or visible symbols, and they are dark colored, and there's kind of only a few times that you see people dressed like this, and they are usually of the thievery type, I would say. You just get a vibe from him, especially the way he's having you approach, that he could maybe be a bit untoward. And so you approach him, and he kind of looks at you and he says, "Hey, what's that?" And he gestures over to Tiny.
That is a drake.
Right.
Have you never seen a moon drake before?
No, can't say I have. Can he get you above the storm?
And I'm very conflicted because I know,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know. Who? I'm sorry. What was your name?
I didn't tell you.
So, like, are you going to though?
Of course. And he
Okay.
he reaches out his hand. He says, "The name's Reaver, Dominic Reaver."
Reaver?
Uh huh.
You say it like it's like Reba.
What?
So, but it's Reaver.
Well,
Yeah.
in the way in your tongue, I suppose. For me, it's Reaver.
Reaver.
There is an R at the end, if that's what you're questioning.
Thank you. No, I don't look like it, but I can read.
Great. Well, my name's Dominic, and listen, I'll just be upfront with you because you seem like the type that kind of knows how to protect herself. And
You'd be right.
yeah, well, don't trust Pollux. And he points over and he like kind of gestures over to the left, and you now see what the rest of the party would have seen when Reva gestured over to the side, and you see about 100 feet away from the large Grand Sea Hall, roughly 40 to 50 sticks standing in the ground. Some of them have planks on them. It is very obviously a graveyard, a makeshift graveyard. And he kind of gestures over to it, and he says, "We have him to thank for all of those."
What do you mean? Like
He doesn't know what
all
he's
those
doing, is what I mean. There's ways out of this storm, but he has restricted supplies, and anytime a gathering is made that he's not at, he butts himself in, and he's a danger to this hell, he says, kind of with a chuckle. as we've colloquially been calling this place. So, tonight, if you want to really talk about what's going on here, meet me behind the Grand Sea Hall when the moon is high in the sky. You'll be able to see it because it's the only time this place we're at ever has some light in the night. It's when the moon is right above this clear area.
Absolutely, I will meet you.
Wonderful. And he kind of steps back, or steps forward. He was leaning back. He kind of steps forward, and he kind of nods to you. And he walks in front of the opening, in near Tiny, and he just kind of like looks to Tiny, and just kind of like looks them up and down, and he reaches out to pet Tiny, like to pet him on his snout. And because he has a telepathic link to you, do you tell him to do anything in that moment as Dominic reaches out towards him?
I think I'm gonna kind of look at him and he's not gonna engage Reaver, but I think he's not gonna stop him. You know what I mean? Like it's that thing of like Reaver has to do all the work.
Yeah. So he reaches out and Tiny kind of like backs up a little bit, like a cat when you're putting your hand towards their face.
Yeah.
And then eventually stops, and Reaver just kind of like pats him on the snout, right on the edge of the nose, and just kind of gives him one or two little pets, and then looks back to you and says, "Fearsome creature," and then he continues walking towards one of the other huts. Cool.
I'm gonna look at Tiny. I'm gonna be like, what a weirdo. And then, yeah.
Tiny just like his little wings just like shrug a little bit, like he just kind of shrugs. And
also, just
go ahead.
Really cool thing that I forgot to describe last time. Like Tiny doesn't have like dragon eyes.
Ooh.
Like with the like slit and the like kind of lizardy like, it's just pure black. It's like obsidian.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, so like it's kind of extra creepy, but also kind of still that like.
Love that.
Kind of always like.
Love that.
That.
So you step back inside the main Grand Sea Hall, and as you do, you hear the conversation amongst your comrades. And the rest of you are sitting at the table, still talking with Captain Hullix. Is there anything that you say or want to do?
Hullix, we specifically traveled to get to Devis, and now that we've crashed and we're kind of like stuck in this area, really feels like we have no choice but to continue on to Devis. So,
how do you propose to get through the storm?
Walk.
Right. You do realize how insane that sounds, right?
Well, I mean, we did fall out of the sky in an airship. We're pretty fine, so give it a try.
Yeah, I will say this is the first airship we've seen crash here. And Captain Ace, who has been with you all the whole time, they kind of nod and say, yes, I'm sure that it was. Airships are rare and expensive, and you see them kind of like get a little emotional and like a little upset.
Can I make an insight check on Captain What's His Butt?
Yeah, for sure. Of course you can.
This happened a bit ago, but I wanted to see how the others reacted to the name Tildor. Not just Hullix, but if Dorvo or Riva or the fancy elf.
Yeah, make a perception check.
I rolled a 5, but I decided to use my inspiration and rolled a natural 20.
Ooh, okay. What'd you get real quick, Kelpie? Because this would have happened first, technically.
I got 25.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. You notice that Dorvo and Reba also don't really, like Captain Hullix kind of had some recognition. Dorvo and Reba have absolutely no recognition. You do notice that the woman, the noble woman, the elven noble woman who's writing, she's kind of writing in the book, and as soon as you say that, or as soon as Atticus said that, she stops and looks up and kind of tilts her head and, like, has, like, a quizzical look, and then looks back down in her notebook and starts writing again. Your insight check on a natural 20, you get that Captain Hullix, with a natural 20, I'm just going to tell you, you get that Captain Hullix is in over his head. This dude was the captain of a transportation vessel that has crash landed onto this place, and he seems to be kind of a guy that gravitates naturally towards being a leader, and so he's kind of put himself in this position, and it just genuinely seems like everything that he's saying is true, and that he just feels beaten down and exasperated and a little desperate. And you all, it took you a moment because a lot was happening, and it took you a while to get in to realize what's happening here. But you're all starting to notice that, all of you are starting to notice that everybody seems somewhat malnourished. It seems like everyone's weak. The only food that they've had, other than maybe the occasional crab that they are able to capture, has been waterlogged food from crates that have been crashed, and so they definitely seem to not necessarily be well taken care of. They seem desperate, and Captain Hullix seems, to you, Avra, he really holds all of it on his shoulders. And that's what you get from him.
Okay. Is he sitting or is he standing?
He's sitting.
He's sitting. I'm gonna go sit, like, across from him.
Uh-huh. You all are sitting at the table with him. At least I thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. Captain Hullix, it seems like you have done a lot of work here to keep everybody safe. We want to get to the bottom of this as much as you do, obviously, so will you accept our help in helping you figure this out so you're not doing it on your own?
If you have any bright ideas, I'm ready to hear them.
Well, we don't, but we could investigate. We just got here. We can try to figure it out.
No, I'm saying feel free. I'm not going to turn down help. I want to get out of here just as much as everybody else does. I'm just also trying to keep everybody alive.
Yeah.
But we've gone to the edge of this storm. If we haven't entered it, we've gone as far as we can, which is, I think the furthest we've gone into the storm is 100 feet before we've lost somebody.
Do you have any magic users here?
They all three kind of like look at each other, and you see Dorvo like look over at the elven woman, and then Captain Hullix says, "Not many, no."
Okay. I'm gonna go do a little bit of investigating. Does anyone want to come with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to
Am
get
I?
around.
I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah, you're there. Mhm.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna like stand at
Re-
the back of the door.
Yeah, what were you saying, Rev?
I said one question before we go off. Who's been here the longest?
Captain Hullix raises his hand, and he says, "We were the first ones to crash here. The only ones of us that are left from the Grand Sea Hall are me, my son, and I always do this. Belidra," and he gestures to the elven woman. She was she was seeking passage. She actually, she had purchased the whole of the Grand Sea Hall. We were heading to Frostgrasp, and she paid us for the ship, and that's where we were heading when we ran into this storm. That was a little over a year ago. Everybody else has crashed since. But I don't think we were the first ones here. There was signs of shipwrecks and signs that people had been here, but we were the first ones to kind of settle and stay.
Do you have any means of fresh food and water, or strictly what you guys have scavenged and kind of rationed?
Strictly what we've scavenged. Water is the hardest to come by. Luckily, some of the ships who have crashed, especially us at the Grand Sea Hall, we had barrels of water that survived the shipwrecks that we've been able to use. We also have various rain collectors out that have collected some of the rain. When we've gotten really desperate, we've tried to boil some of the seawater. It's not been very effective. We're able to get some fish every once in a while from the ocean, but the waters are so rough that nothing really lives out there. The occasional crab wanders in, but if it hasn't come from a ship, we don't really have it.
I can help out with water and food, but in like a day or so.
Yeah, if we're still here tomorrow, I can use help purify some of the stuff you guys have.
I mean, that would be amazing. We don't have anything to pay you or offer you other than shelter.
Please,
but
it's fine. No payments necessary.
We just need your trust in letting us help you figure this out.
If you're here, it's not of your own fruition, so I trust you.
I also noticed that some of your clothes are kind of tattered, so free of charge, I can go around and make those good as new for you.
You a sewer?
In a way, yeah.
Resident seamstress.
Yeah. You know what? I am a sewer.
All
That's
right.
how it starts.
Great.
Own it.
And he kind of leans back and looks to the rest of you and he says, "Listen, feel free to make yourselves at home. Walk about, talk to anyone you want to. I'll be here. I'm just gonna go get some rest. And yeah, welcome to hell." And he stands up and walks back to the back of the ship and just kind of lounges into one of the hammocks, kind of plops in, puts his hat over his eyes, and just kind of begins to sway. Dorvo watches his father walk away, and then looks to the rest of you. My dad, he's afraid, and rightfully so. We started off with a crew of 10 men and women, and we're the only ones left. Most people die as their ships wreck and land here. Like we said, we've lost quite a few to the storm itself. But he's given up. And not all of us have. And he stands up and kind of nods and starts walking away. Reva, who's just had her arms crossed and has just been standing there the whole time, looks at all of you and says, "Don't cause any trouble." And then walks away herself. And hell is yours to walk around and and investigate.
As Reva walks away, I just look at her and I cast mending on her like tattered clothes.
Yeah, she her clothes start to her ripped sleeves start to mend and become one again, and the tatters and like little cracks and rips on her tunic start to form, and you actually see there's like yellow golden knots on her shoulders that are there to signify her rank, and you see some of those come back as well, and she looks and then looks back at you And she nods, and she says, "You'll be useful," and she walks away.
Cool. Just paying for it a good deed.
Can't wait to play honesty and compelled action with these people.
Amazing.
Do you guys think
Better
they,
place
do,
to play it than hell.
do you guys think they ate the other people? I'm gonna try to whisper that to all of us.
Oh,
Do you think
I don't
No.
know. I don't know. Why, they don't have
hope
any
not.
food.
I
They've
didn't
been
even
here for a
think
year.
of that.
There's no way they had enough food for that long.
Oh shit.
God, now that's all I can think about.
Yeah, that's all I've been thinking about this whole time.
Shit. Well, let's see if we can figure this out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go outside. I want to get sort of as close to the edge of the dome protection area as I can,
Mm-hmm.
and just make like an Arcana check first and see if it seems like this dome, what I can figure out about this dome.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get to you. What is? I just kind of want to see what everybody's doing. So, what's everybody else doing?
I'm following Abra.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Want to try to find like the middle of the dome, like the center of the
Totally.
eye, or we see what's there.
Yeah. Anybody
I
else?
sneak away from everyone and start heading into the storm to head towards Dennis.
Okay.
Perfect.
Perfect.
See you later, man.
And Elvin died.
You tried to get rid of him so many times, and he just did it himself.
And he just goes into storm.
Pharaoh, what are you up to?
I'm just like walking around mending.
Yeah, amazing.
Close.
Great. Wonderful.
So nice.
And then Rev and Ray, what are you guys up to?
I'm just following Pharaoh around, like rolling a cigarette. Just
Okay.
like, waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, totally. And Ray, what are you up to?
You know, I'm just gonna like observe
Okay.
them
Yeah.
where everybody's going, kind of just like keeping tabs on everyone, keeping tabs on everything.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But also still thinking about kind of what. Also, is the woman? Was it his daughter? Was it Holix's daughter? Or who
The
was-
woman. The elven, the like noble woman. Oh
The
no,
woman that had-
Reva. No, she was a large Goliath woman. He's an
Okay,
orc,
so-
and she's a large Goliath woman. And she had like Stagham military vessel. And
Yeah.
when he said who was left from their crew, he did not mention Reva. So it seems like she must be from something else.
Because like her name is Reva, and then this guy's name is Reva.
Well, his last name name is Reaver.
I
Her name is
I
Reva.
like spaced out for a second. I was like, so when did she? I thought it was a girl. Walk away and start talking.
His name's Dominic.
Okay. I'm not on a first name basis.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Not
Mr.
me.
Reva.
I'm gonna, yeah, just so I'm chilling. I'm kind of in the center watching, seeing what everybody's doing, sitting
Cool.
on this information.
Totally.
Okay.
As you guys begin to walk away, Captain Ace just kind of like speaks to all of you real quick, and they say, "All right, well, just so you all know, we'll be in here trying to take inventory of what we were able to salvage from the Winged Queen. Just take care of yourselves. Be safe." And Tommy looks to you, Kelpie, and as you start to head out, and he says, where you going?"
Let's go with Abra, wherever she's going.
"All right, well, I know you can take care of yourself, but be careful, okay? It's dangerous out there."
You too. You should probably stay with Captain Ace.
"Yeah, I will. They're gonna need my help. So, I don't know. Be a hyena or whatever."
Okay, my dad.
I
Bye.
think that's like a goodbye between. All right, be a hyena.
Okay, so we'll start off first with Pharaoh and Rev. So as you guys are kind of walking around and mending clothes, do you? I'm assuming you probably make your way over to Belidra, the elven woman.
Yeah.
So you approach her, and she's still writing in her notebook, and she hears the sand shuffling as you approach, and she leans up and she kind of closes the book and puts her hands down on the desk and looks to you and... Hello.
Hey, it's always nice to meet a fellow elf.
Yes. Hello. Nice to see you. My name is Belidra Torin.
Lovely voice.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
My name is Belidra Torin. And as soon as she says that, Pharaoh, you for sure recognize that last name. You don't know her personally, but the Torrens are a very wealthy elven family from Faluin. They're just a well-known, noble family. One of them, you don't know his relationship to her, was a general in the army above you. They are just a very well-known, noble family, so as soon as she says, my name is Belitra Torin, that information does come back to you. But yeah, she looks at you all and says, my name is Belitra Torin. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I recognize your name. You're kind of a big deal. It's what a crazy predicament we've gotten ourselves into.
Yes. Well, one could say that. I signed up for adventure and exploration, and I guess that's what I got.
Yeah. Anyway, do you need your clothes mended?
I don't really have anything else to wear, so I can't really give this to you to sew.
No need. I got it. Just put my hand on her shoulder and mend.
Yeah, hers is much easier to take care of. Like I said, she has seemingly well maintained her clothing, and it's mainly just the bottom fringes of the robes that have been tattered just from walking around on rough sand and wind-torn landscape. And as the seafoam green kind of mends itself and coalesces as one, yet again, the silver embroidery beginning to shine, she looks to you and almost gets emotional, and says, wow, thank you. That's quite clever.
No problem. It's just a cantrip.
Wonderful. It's good to see another user of the arcane here. That's great.
Are you a magic user yourself?
Not extremely well educated in the arts, but I have begun trying to teach myself. And she gestures over to a satchel that's just like lying on by the chair next to her. I have a few books that have kept me entertained and educated as we've stayed here. You see, I am a Tauren, as you said. You recognize my name. I am one of the younger daughters of Ezekiel Tauren, and therefore have not been in line for many of the benefits of my father's namesake. And so I decided to see as much of Erubrion as I could. I heard that... Well, have you heard of the legends in Frostgrasp?
Yes.
Oh, you've heard of the dragons?
Oh, no. Sorry.
And she kind of like seems a little quizzical. And I will say, in case I've never said this before, there has not been the visible sight or any sign of dragons, actual dragons, not just drakes, for centuries. It's been a very long time. And she looks to you and she says, oh, well, legend says that an ancient white dragon still lives in Frostgrasp. And I wanted to find out if that was true. So I hired Captain Holix and the Grand Sea Hall to take me there, and that's how we found ourselves in this position. I consider myself a record keeper of history. I try to discover the truths of Erubrion and what has really happened. And so I wanted to take myself to Frost Grasp and see what I could learn, and, well, like I said, that's what ended us in this predicament here.
Oh, so you spend a lot of times in, like, libraries. Oh my gosh, do you know Drigo?
Drigo. Why does that name sound familiar? Drigo, does he... Was that the kind fellow that used to work at the Library of Ancients?
Yep, that's the one.
I do know of Drigo. Yes, I haven't
Oh.
seen him in... Gosh, probably 100 years or so. It's been a very long time.
Drigo and I are going steady.
What does that mean?
He said that to me once and I didn't understand, but we're just dating.
Oh, lovely. So are you from
Yeah.
Voluin?
Yeah, I am.
And she kind of like looks at your armor and kind of realizes what's going on and... Oh, you... Are you a member of the military in Voluin?
I was in a past life, but I've kind of, I've shed that life and I'm now adventuring.
A deserter then?
No. I was honorably discharged.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to presume. Many people thought that war was fought for the wrong reasons. You wouldn't have been the only deserter, and I wouldn't have judged you for it. And she looks to,
You're not pretty hot with that deserter.
and she looks to you, Rev, and says, "Yes, well,
It's kind of bored just standing here in silence. My cigarette has gone out, so
You smoking a cigarette, Rev?
no.
Okay, every one of those you smoke takes 10 minutes off your life.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna live for 1,000 years like you guys. Man, I thought it was racist to assume that like all elves knew each other, but
it is, and we don't. But we apparently this is not a good example for that. Your name is
Reese. My name's Reese.
Reese. Well, pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
My eyes go wide.
Pleasure to meet your acquaintance, Reese. How did you all find yourselves in... And she kind of chuckles as she says it. Hell.
Well, we were on our way to Devis, flying in an airship as you are, and boom, bang, we crashed.
Devis?
Yeah, we're trying to find someone there.
Oh, yes, I might have overheard. Why are you searching for Fyodor Swiftdream?
Do you know Fyodor?
Well, anyone with the stature and civilization's ranks would know the leader of the Emerald Union.
Yeah. Turns out he's not a good guy, and we're just gonna go there and you know, bring him in for his crimes against humanity.
What?
Yeah. See, yeah, he killed a bunch of people. Like he sent a bunch of people to get killed, and to me that's a big no-no.
Fyodor Swiftdream killed a bunch of...
Yeah.
And she kind of like looks at you and, you are being truthful, and she kind of has once again another quizzical look. How long have I been here?
1 year, I think you said.
Right. Seems like a lot can change in a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
it seems like he was kind of always maybe like not a great person.
I feel the Emerald Union has done many good things in most major cities.
Yeah, I tend to agree, but maybe his intentions personally weren't that great.
Right. Well, thank you for the gift, and she gestures to her robes. I appreciate that, and it was a lovely meeting, both of you. I'm quite tired, and think I might find myself resting. It tends to be what everyone spends most of their time doing here. So, I will talk to you this evening. for tonight's meal, I'm sure.
Of course, it was truly a pleasure. You seem great.
You as well. And she stands up, takes her notebook, puts it in her bag, lifts it up over her shoulder, seems to struggle slightly, and then heads over to a nearby hammock. And as that is happening, Atticus, you stepped outside to try to find the center of of this dome. You step outside and you first notice that the dome, that hell, as it were, quote unquote, seems to be more close to the shore. They seem to have not, partly because the ships are incredibly heavy, so they got them onto shore enough to get away from the tide, but didn't move much past that, and that the actual 1,000-foot diameter goes a little bit further. And so you go beyond, you spot the grave, the makeshift graveyard, and you walk beyond that, and you kind of find yourself about 200 feet away from hell, and looking around you, it seems like the beach becomes what looks like could maybe be forest as you look further out, but it's so hard to see through the sideways rain and the raging winds. But you kind of look all around you and look up, and you feel like you have about 200 feet past the Grand Sea Hall. You feel like you've found the center of this dome.
Is there anything there? Is it still just beach?
Still just beach, yeah. It seems like the 1,000-foot diameter is pretty much like about 50 to 100 feet past the shore onto the ocean water, and then goes 1,000 feet, and then it's still beach, and then if you were able to see it, like 100 to 200 feet past where the storm begins again, is where the beach would end.
Got it. I mean, is there anybody looking at me? Is there anybody checking me out? Or am I kind of alone?
You definitely had some glances as you were walking away, but this is something you all notice as you walk, especially like Pharaoh and Rev, as you guys are walking from person to person. All of you notice that all of these people, they're in their own worlds. They are focused on themselves. They are desperate. They are malnourished. They are distracted. You do notice that most of them are sitting down and lying down most of the time. It seems that Belitra was right, that people just kind of spend most of their time resting. So you get the occasional look just because you're a new person. Also, I'm just going to say with the amount of feather falls that you had, that Gustav was included in those. And so he definitely, because you summoned him again.
Was dead. Awesome.
No,
I summoned him while you gifted.
Yeah, I gifted. Yeah, well, yeah.
Bit the rope to free Elburn, and then I don't know if I could cast Featherfall.
Yeah, because you were able to do it on quite a few people, and Abra casted it as well. So I think that you guys had
5 each, so it'd be 10 total.
And there's 7 of you. Oh.
8 of us.
8 of you. 8 of you? Oh, well...
Well, I guess she would be riding on top.
Ray was on Tiny, yeah. So there was... Who's the set... Are you counting Gustav as 7?
No. Well, it's Lake Peak 6. 6. Right?
Yeah,
7 of us, including you, the DM.
Exactly, yeah. So there was 6 of you that Featherfall got cast on, plus the 4 members of the crew. So I guess, yeah, Gustav's actually not with you.
I figured he...
Yeah, because I was just gonna say that he gets some looks and maybe a couple of licked lips from some people, but no, that doesn't happen. So yeah, you get some glances looking at you, but once you walk 10, 20 feet away from somebody, they stop paying you any attention. So yeah, as you're standing here in the center, about 200 feet away, no one's around you. They're all by the ships and the makeshift huts. You seem to be alone. I
want to start just digging a little bit, see if there's anything underneath where I am.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure you have You might have a shovel in one of your explorers
Even
pack
if
or a
I'm
little
just in the
spade.
sand, I'll just take my
Take your shield and
just
yeah, totally. You actually do. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Plus 13.
13. You do, as you're doing this, you find some quite aesthetically pleasing shells that do appear in the sand. Also, as you continue to dig, a crab appears and starts to like skitter away unless you do something about it.
Oh yeah, I'll try to catch that crab.
Yeah. Do you just try to like grab it with your hand or what?
I don't want to firebolt it because then it'll probably just die. My sword would probably just cut it in half. Yeah, I'll just try to grab it with my hands.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and make just a straight dexterity check to see if you're quick enough to grab this guy.
17 minus 1, I think. So 16.
Yeah, good enough. Yeah, you're able to just kind of snatch out and grab him. You grab him by the top of his shell, so his pincers are on either side, and he's like freaking out, and his legs are moving. He's trying to do, but I mean, you have him by the bulk of him.
I'll just shove it in my bag.
Yeah, easily enough. It's just the occasional movement you feel it, but yeah, I mean, he's not going to be able to get out of there. He's a small.
And
crab.
if I don't find anything right away, I would just, which I'm assuming I don't, anything note.
No,
I
just what you would find on a beach.
I'm gonna take this vial out of my bag, trying to avoid the crab as I'm grabbing it. This brown dirt. I'm just gonna open it, smell it, put it back in my bag, and just kind of sit there and try to pray to Lyra.
Yeah.
To try and just just ask for her to bring these people any kind of happiness or joy that she can spread.
Totally. Go ahead and make for paladin, it's charisma, right? So go ahead and make a charisma check with your proficiency bonus, as that's kind of your skill with your god.
But it's a +7, so it'd be 9.
9. Okay. So you take a moment and kind of grab your holy symbol and just let yourself meditate, and you don't hear anything. No voice comes to you. You do get, it's kind of cold and rainy, but there is a second of like a warm wind that kind of blows across from you and towards the direction of Devis. And with a 9, that's kind of all you get.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll just pack my stuff and head back.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll now jump to Ava and Kelpie. So you guys are walking. You're walking to the edge of the storm, you said, right? Are you walking towards like the shore? Are you walking in the north towards Devis? Are you walking towards the west, the south? Where are you heading?
I would probably go in whichever direction is like closest to the structure we were in.
Which would be that would technically be the shore, which is east.
Oh. Well, then whichever one is not the shore.
So it's a little bit closer to the hell is a little bit closer to the south side of the dome. Okay. So you head south, which would be in the direction of the city of Volumen itself, and the opposite direction of Devis. And you head to the edge of the storm. What are you attempting to do as you get closer? The rain becomes harder and more horizontal. The winds become harder. Thunder itself seems louder.
I want to just make an Arcana check.
Okay.
And see if it seems like this diameter is magically protected, or if it really is just like some like weird Eye of the Storm thing.
Yeah. I would say instead of an Arcana check, that would be kind of just a straight up intelligence check.
Okay.
Yeah. Because an Arcana check would be more so like you're trying to like determine magical symbols or like the nature of a spell or something like that.
That makes sense. 22.
22. Yeah. This is completely unnatural. This is not something that occurs in nature, which automatically leads you to believe it is magical in nature.
Okay.
The one thing that you, especially with a 22, that you get with that intelligence check is that the wind is going in both directions. It'll go like from east to west very hard, and then it'll go from west to east. It'll go from north to south on occasion, south to north as well. And it seems to just be like, it seems to be just kind of pure chaos. And with the 22, it feels in a strange way, what's the word I'm looking for? Cognizant. It feels like the storm has a mind of its own almost. Whether that be the storm itself, whether that be something controlling the storm, but it feels unnatural, feels like this dome is magically protected, and it feels like with those pieces of information, it feels like that if it's magically protected and magically conjured, that must mean there is something controlling this storm.
Yeah. Okay. Am I able to like stick my hand out and get it in like the winds that are crazy without hurting myself?
It's not as simple as like you go up to a wall and then there's just like from that point on, it's like more of a steady thing.
Yeah.
But you can get to where it's like pretty bad, but not bad enough to like send you flying.
Okay, I want to do that.
You can get like 50 feet out into
Here's
it.
what I'm trying to do. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I want to try to cast Identify.
Okay.
Which means I have to be touching the object.
Okay.
So I want to be as like in contact with the storm as I can be.
Interesting.
You can also tell me no.
No. It's worth a shot. Let me just look up the exact wording of Identify to see what you
I
can
have
determine.
it up right now. Do you want me to?
No, I got it. Don't worry. I'll be able to pull it up real quick. Okay. Let me see this.
Just shout it across since you're in the same space.
Hey.
Okay. Okay. So, do you use a spell slot or are you doing it as a ritual? Ritual just meaning it'll take you 10 minutes to cast it. Technically 11 minutes.
I think I can only do it as ritual.
Oh, you don't have it prepared? Okay. Yeah, so easily enough. You focus your education and your mind on your arcanic abilities, and you begin going through the verbal and somatic requirements, and your pouch has, what you need for the actual spell, and you focus the spell, and it takes you, like I said, almost 11 minutes to cast it. So Kelpie, you're just kind of like standing there keeping watch. As
Before
she's,
I start, I would be like, Kelpie, stand guard.
During the 10 minutes, I'd like to try something, but...
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So I have the spell Call Lightning prepared.
Okay.
And it says if I cast it outdoors where there already is stormy conditions, I get control of the storm.
Interesting.
Would
okay.
I know
Ooh.
if a magical storm would not be affected by it? I mean, if Kelpie doesn't know, she would try anyway, but like if she would be like, probably not a magical storm.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to waste a spell slots for it, so...
Let me see real quick.
Is a shockingly powerful spell.
Yeah.
Especially right now. I never realized.
I didn't even realize that part of it. I was just like, ooh, that's cool. I can make lightning appear. And then it was like, oh, wait. Stormy conditions. When you cast the spell gives you control over the existing storm.
That's cool.
But I don't know about magic storms.
You don't know.
Okay.
Do you want to try it?
Yeah, then when you tell me that, I also say, I think I'm gonna try something, but I'll also stand guard and I'll be right here. I just want to try a spell.
Okay, be careful, please.
And then I'll cast it so the cone like starts right in front of me, so I could be able to see if the winds get lighter, the rain kind of lessens, and if I would have control of that area.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would send it like out into like the depths too, of where it would get worse.
So spell blah 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 blah. So it's not really. It looks like it's a cylinder, not a cone. So it's like a space straight up and down.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. And you do it about 60 feet out. You said, or just however far it takes you.
Yeah, it's a 60-foot
radius. And okay, gotcha.
Radius, gotcha. So it'd be like 60 foot away from me.
So this is what you're able to do. So you cast the spell, knowing that this is like you know that Greenleafs have talked about abilities like this. You know that this is something that you should be able to do. So you focus your energy and you kind of raise your hands up, and as you do, your hair begins to blow even harder, and it almost feels like you're being picked up by the wind itself. And I'm assuming you just like the actual physical, because the lightning strike does have to happen. So I'm assuming you just out.
I don't.
Oh, does it not have to happen? A bolt of lightning flashes down from the clouds.
I mean,
it
says that like I can basically at each of my turns, if this was in combat, I could choose a point that lightning can strike. I don't know if it's required. If it does,
I think it's no. I think it's not every single time, but I think when you cast the spell, one bolt needs to happen, and then you have control of the storm. So you just like send the one bolt wherever it is.
Just a little ways away.
Yeah, just kind of some sand shoots up, and you feel like instead of you don't gain control of the storm. You notice that immediately. You notice that it is still chaotic. It's surrounding you, which is educational. It lets you know that this is not a natural storm, or else you feel like you would be able to gain control over it. But what you are able to do is it feels like within that cylinder, you're able to curb the conditions. So the wind is not, if you wanted it to be, the wind is not as hard. The rain is not as horizontal. It's you're not able to control the storm, but you think that you could probably use this to protect yourself in the storm, or at least attempt to do so. So that's what you notice as you cast the spell.
Cool.
And after the first lightning strike hits, almost bringing you out of your concentration, Avra, a huge roar of thunder occurs. Very loud. It almost shakes the physical ships of hell itself. And you notice immediately like 3 or 4 strikes of lightning right near where yours was. And that's what you notice.
And I didn't tell it to do
and
that.
You did not cause that to happen. Yeah. It's not within the physical. It's not within the physical cylinder. It's almost like those 3 or 4 strikes of lightning, almost like outline where the cylinder is, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So you finish after this all happens. You weren't really paying attention, so you just kind of figured that's part of the storm, what just happened, and so you don't lose too much of concentration of the spell. You finish casting Identify. You do notice that this is a hold on real quick. I just want to see something. Yeah, you do notice that this is a conjuration. I want to say spell, but it's not really a spell. But this, you do 100% know that this storm is being conjured by something. Okay. You do 100% know that this storm is being controlled by that something. And I'll say roll an insight check.
Okay.
11. It seems to be not originating from the direction you are facing. It seems to be originating from the opposite direction.
Which would be in the direction of Devis, right?
Correct. Speaking of, as you are figuring all of this out, we now get to good old Elburn. So, Elburn, go ahead and just roll a general stealth check for me, because I know you didn't want them to notice where you were heading.
Is it day right now?
I mean, yeah, but it's like dark and stormy, so it's like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's what I thought, because for a second I was like, wait, is it the dead of night?
No, it's not the dead of night. It's like probably 5 or 6 p.m. So it's like, because it's dark and stormy, it's pretty dark, but you can still see where you're going and everything.
Gotcha.
Especially because there's lightning that's pretty consistent and lighting up the area around.
15.
15. Does anybody have a passive perception above a 15?
Mine is 17.
Well,
16.
you guys noticed, the Rev and Pharaoh just noticed Elburn leave the building. You're in that building still, so you don't notice where he went. I will say, Kelphi, you did notice that he went towards the north. You don't know what he's doing, especially because you went the opposite direction. You don't really have eyes on him, but you know that that's the direction he went. So, Elburn, you reach the northern edge of this storm. As you get closer and closer, the same thing I've described to everybody else, the winds get harder, the rain starts to become horizontal, almost pellet-like in the way that it hits you, and the thunder itself seems to be a little bit louder. Do you continue to push forward?
Yeah, I pushed forward directly, aimed at the city, since, secretly I've known that path for a minute.
For sure, yeah. Okay. So as you were walking, you hear this, like, rumble. Make a perception check for me.
For 2 seconds, I was like, dexterity saving throw, and I was like, fuck. Nat 20!
Nat 20! Perfect. With that perception check, you hear a roar of thunder that emanates all around you. But there's something about it, especially with that natural 20, that's not just a roar of thunder. That's just a roar. And you notice in the distance, not directly the direction you're facing, but a little bit off, about maybe 1,000 feet away through the storm, is the peak of a mountain. But it's a small mountain, not super large. And you know that that roar is emanating from that mountain. And the storm continues to pick up. There's moments where you have to physically press yourself into the wind. There's also moments where you have to hold yourself back because the wind is hitting your back and almost making you stumble forward. Do you continue to walk forward?
Yeah.
All right. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw for me.
There it is. 13.
13 does not succeed.
I'm not shocked. Well, it might be.
Hi, Elvin.
Might
2,
be.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You take 67 points of lightning damage.
Huh.
What is your max HP?
50?
Oh, your max HP is 50? Cool. So you are knocked unconscious.
That tracks.
But you are not outright killed. So a bolt of lightning lands right where you are walking. You feel your hair start to stand up right before it hits, and it cracks down underneath you. You see a flash of white light, and then you are unconscious. And we'll get back to you. The rest of you, is there anything? Atticus, you've started to walk back. Rev and Pharaoh, we started with you guys first, so do you just start heading towards, like, other people in the village, or where do you head after Belidra leaves you?
I probably just try to see if I can go to every person that I see, like walking around outside, inside, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Rev, do you just kind of follow Pharaoh around, or do you separate?
I follow Pharaoh around and like. So anyway, that was the third time I was in jail, and the hardest part about that is like you gotta be able to do nothing for a really long time. And,
You lied to her about your name.
yeah, listen. We've been through this. I feel like we've had this conversation before.
It's very shocking to me.
I feel like I just told you like so much about. That's what you're hung up on?
I don't care about being in jail. You lied to her to her face.
Oh my god.
As you are walking around this camp, Atticus, as you are walking back, you see something thrown from the north of the storm slam into the sand and start rolling forward. You're not really able to see what it is from where you're standing, but I would say all three of you kind of noticed that happen. Elburn, I need you to make a death saving throw for me.
Yeah, I would go run over to it once I see that.
Yeah, same.
Constitution, right?
No, death saving throw is just you roll a d20.
Oh, thank you. 16.
16, okay. So that's one success. You're about... He got thrown to the edge of the storm. You were in the center, so Atticus is around 400 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
And Pharaoh and Rev are probably about 500 to 600 feet away. I know that Atticus is making his way there. Pharaoh and Rev, do you guys make your way to this item that was thrown in from the storm?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would run after it.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Rev.
Run away from me! We're in the middle.
I'm done with your lying.
Okay, Atticus.
Does it look like a body?
Make a perception check. You too, Pharaoh and Rev.
Ooh, natural 20, 27.
Yeah, natural 20.
Nice! What'd you get, Atticus?
15.
15. 15 was the minimum. All three of you do recognize that this is a body. The two of you with natural 20s, it's Elburn's body.
What? What are you doing?
Face palm.
Okay, so
I'm running!
Atticus, what's the fastest that you can run 60 feet per round?
Yeah. I mean, unless I use Misty Step, but I wouldn't really know. I wouldn't really think to use it, but I would just be around.
Okay, so you get 60 feet closer. You're about, I'll just round it to 300 feet away. Elburn, I need you to make a death saving throw for me. Atticus is the closest, so we'll just do this with Atticus. The rest, the two of you will be right behind.
I do have my boots of flea line agility that I would use.
Okay, yeah.
18.
18, all right, that's a success. Yeah, Pharaoh, what is that causes you to just be able to double your movement one round, right?
Yes, I can move 35 feet.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, with your full movement, a dash, and the feline agility, you're like catching up to Atticus, basically, is what's happening. Atticus, you get another 60 feet. You're 240 feet away from Elburn. Elburn, I need you to make a death saving throw for me.
Ooh, that's a 4.
That's a 4. All right, we got 2 successes and a failure. Atticus gets 60 feet closer. 180 feet away. Elburn, I need you to make a death saving throw for me.
We all knew it was going to be my own doing that killed me.
I was running from so far away.
9.
All right, that's 2 failures and 2 successes. Atticus gets 60 feet closer.
Do I see?
But yeah, I was just about to say, make another
Misty
perception check for me.
9.
9. You do not notice that it is Elburn's body, but you already did notice it was a body, and I know Atticus,
Right.
so if you feel like he would use Misty Step, I'm fine with that.
I don't think Misty Step would really help because I would have to use. Well, no, it's a bonus action, so I could go 90 feet then.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a second level spell. Does it look like it's like alive? Would I notice that? Probably
It's not moving.
Yeah, I would use Misty Step once.
Okay.
So
you get to now you're 90 feet away after using Misty Step. You're just running as fast as you can. Grab your holy symbol mid-run. Get 30 feet ahead. Keep running. Elburn, I need you to make another death saving throw for me, buddy. I want no fudging here, Evan.
I'm not. That's why I'm staring directly. That would be a 7.
7.
Hey!
Elburn.
Can I hit him with a healing potion as I'm running?
Break it over his face.
Elburn, as you are lying there, you feel, you're unconscious, and Atticus, as you get closer and closer to Elburn, you see in the last seconds before you approach, one final breath exhale from his body as he now lies there dead.
Do I see that he's dead?
Huh?
Do I see that he's dead?
You see Elburn lying there unconscious for sure.
Well, I have Revivify, so I'm gonna keep running.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's less than
What the fuck?
It's a minute.
What the fuck?
It's a minute, so you
Yeah.
get there in plenty of time for sure.
Yeah, I would pick him up and start running towards Pharaoh.
Yeah, easily enough. You're a strong guy. Elburn is pretty lithe, and so you're able to lift
Don't
him up.
use magic on him. Don't do it.
I pretend I'm doing CPR.
He signed the DNR. Don't do it.
Atticus is running to you. He's screaming. He's dead. He's dead. You're getting closer and closer. You've reached him. It's within the minute. Do you cast Revivify?
Do you have a diamond?
I do
We
have-
bought diamonds.
Yeah, you guys bought a diamond specifically. I do remember that.
Okay, we got 30 seconds left, Atticus. Do you think I should do this or not?
Yes.
You guys start talking about it.
Do it.
Just kidding. I cast Revivify.
All right, so this is the way that we said that we would do this. So let me find out exactly how I said.
Animalistic fucking lions couldn't do this. Only my dumbass.
Okay, so
I can't.
this is Elburn's first death, and the first time he is being revived. So this is what's going to happen. Pharaoh is going to need to roll a wisdom check with proficiency bonus added. And if one of the two of you, Rev or Atticus, wanted to aid in his casting of this spell or in this ritual in any sort of way, any sort of meaningful way, you could give Pharaoh advantage on the roll. And since this is the first time that Elburn is being revived, Pharaoh just needs to not get a natural 1. That's the only thing that needs to happen. So, do either of you in this 30 seconds that's remaining? Do either of you aid in this ritual in any way?
I think Elburn's been quite clear that he does not want magic.
Yes, he has been. He has been.
Oh,
I am unwilling to.
Okay.
God.
I'm I'm brokenhearted that our friend has.
Of course, yeah, but he made it very. Yeah.
I will help.
Okay.
Atticus is like,
I'll
fuck
think
that
about it.
guy.
I'll think about it for a minute. I have to.
Also,
I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
Part of the spell too, Evan, just so it's clear for you.
This is true. This is a good point to make.
You have
Yep.
to want to come back.
Yep.
Oh.
It is a soul that is
Oh.
willing. So we'll get to that in a second. Atticus, what do you do?
Take out my empty bottle of butt water,
Okay.
and I will lay it on his chest and
Uh-huh.
kind of fold his hands over it.
Uh-huh.
So that's he's kind of holding it.
Yeah.
And then I'll just step back and kind of put my hand on Pharaoh's shoulder.
For
This
sure.
makes sense because it looks like he at least got drunk before wandering.
I mean, if he's gonna go out,
He's gonna go out with some butt water. Okay, so Pharaoh, as Atticus gently lays Elburn down on the ground, puts the butt water bottle on his chest, puts his hand relaxing on top of it. You lean down. You quickly reach the diamond in your pouch, and you put it on top of Elburn's hands, which are on top of the bottle of butt water. And you close your eyes, and you feel your face glow. And Atticus and Rev, you see the scar across Pharaoh's face glow with radiant light as he has his hands over Elburn. The glow from within you transfers through your body, down your hands as your hands begin to glow, and in a tinkling, very almost pleasant shattering sound, the diamond shatters into 1,000 pieces as you press down, and the glow forces itself through the bottle of butt water and into the chest of Elburn. Pharaoh, I need you to make a wisdom check with your proficiency bonus at advantage. Basically, you just need to not get 2 natural ones.
All right. My plan is to make it seem like I'm doing like chest compressions.
Okay.
CPR.
Yeah, easily enough. We can get to that.
Elburn, you idiot. 20 and a 26.
Amazing. So the spell is successful. Elburn, you are in a sea of darkness right now. You are existing. You're existing, and are kind of seem to be almost floating as if you're underwater, but you can breathe. There's no water in your lungs or anything. And you start to hear noises, conversations. One being from a female voice who's quite familiar to you. Not Mistra. One that is familiar in a very ancient way, as you hear her scream rather, the last words that she had screamed. Don't do this. Don't. You'll regret this. Elburn, this isn't you. Then you start to hear other screams, muffles, the sounds of moaning, the sounds of magical arcane energy penetrating a body, thuds of those bodies hitting the floor. You hear almost echoing in the grand existence your voice, somewhat deepened, louder, echoing, speaking arcanic language that you now no longer know the meaning of, but it's just echoing over and over again, a chant of your own voice that kind of surrounds you. And in that moment, you see... I need to remind myself of something real quick. You see a bright light in front of you, and as it gets closer, it seems to be a golden star that is floating towards you. That star then separates into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, as they all form a circle. In the middle of the circle, you begin to see the visage of a face as a woman looks back at you, beautiful in her visage, pale skin, long flowing black hair, as she looks at you and she says, I had hoped you had learned your lesson, Elburn. That it was only through the people that you were with and what they brought out in you that the path was leading you to goodness. And yet here you are again, punishing yourself even further than I have punished you for 1,000 years. It is not yet your time, but I'm done trying to convince you. You have the possibility to return. They are there, waiting for you, calling for you. You have the opportunity to right the wrongs that you made 1,000 years ago. Or you could give up. You could suffer the punishment that awaits you in solace, alone. Elburn, Archmage of Devas. What is your decision?
He just kind of stares and lets those echoing voices kind of go across, remembering the last very horrible moments. Where everything kind of turned. Where he made his decision and would not be denied. And he looks back at the form of Mistra. And with tears like streaming down his face, he cracks his knuckles and goes, I wasn't trying to die. I'm gonna finish this.
You see a smile grow onto this woman's face. And a warmth fills your body as the light of the stars around her becomes brighter and brighter. Atticus, Rev, Pharaoh, you notice for the first time, some of you didn't even know it, that it was there, a medallion of the symbol of Mistra begins to float off of Elburn's chest and glow with a bright light before it shatters into a million pieces. Elburn, you hear her voice say, "You have made your choice. I shackle you no longer." And Elburn, the brightness becomes brighter and brighter and brighter until eventually the sounds of storm and thunder and lightning enter your senses as you inhale, seeing those around you. And that is where we are going to take a break. We're going to go ahead and take a bio break right now. We will be back. And
he has to re-roll his character as a wizard now.
we will be back, and yeah, just stay tuned, and we're gonna just take a little 5-minute break. We'll be right back. Bye.
Bye.
Hello. We're back.
Hey.
Everyone's alive.
For now.
For now. Yes, as we have just ended right before the break, Elburn, you have awoken, and you see Atticus kind of holding you, Pharaoh standing over you, and Rev just shaking his head, just standing up above everybody else. For first things first, Pharaoh, go ahead and give me a performance check. Let's see how good you are at trying to hide these as chest compressions.
Staying alive. 16.
16. Okay. Make a insight check, Elburn.
13.
I'm gonna say because of everything that you just had with Mistra and the fact that it felt very mystical, roll that with advantage.
No, 3.
Yeah, you don't necessarily know that Revivify is what happened here. And so you wake up, and as you take in a breath, the first thing that you notice, other than everybody else around you, is that you are able to take in a deeper breath than you feel like you've ever been able to take in for the past 1,000 years, as you don't feel a heavy weight on your chest, and you instinctively kind of just rub your chest a little bit, and you don't feel the medallion of Mistra implanted on your chest. But Elburn is now awake with 1 hit point, and you all see each other.
Atticus slaps him across the face.
Okay. Are you trying to damage? I'll say, are you trying to damage him?
So here, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna slap him across the face. If I do damage, whatever, I'm gonna immediately hug him and lay on hands.
Okay, great. So you slap him across the face. Elburn goes unconscious again a little bit, just real quick, and then you pump lay on hands into him. Do you try to hide the fact that it's lay on hands?
No, not at all. You get 20 hit points.
Yeah.
You were unconscious. You can't fucking stop me.
So you now have 20 hit points, Elburn, and as you awaken, you notice that Atticus kind of removes his hands, and there's still like a lingering radiant glow on his hands. But it's up to you, Elburn's opinion on the fact that magic is being used on him. However, what I will say is you don't have the immediate addictive effect that normally happens to you when magic hits you. You don't have an urge for more. You don't feel shaky. Your emotions towards it is up to you, but you don't have any physical reaction to the fact that he used a magic spell on you.
I very weakly first turn to Atticus and just go, "Ow." And
Yeah.
then I turn to the other two around me. I go, well, at least someone had the kindness to use CPR and not lay on hands. And I look at Pharaoh and I go, thank you, Pharaoh.
He shoved a diamond in your chest.
I use CPR on you.
Make an insight check, and
Absolutely.
and Pharaoh, make a deception check.
Celestial oil provided Revivify? I don't...
9.
I'm just rolling shit insight. That's 12.
12. Well,
I got a 9.
he rolled a 9, so you know that Pharaoh is lying.
I just go, God damn it.
I can't lie, I cast Revivify on you.
You should be thanking me. Just saved your life. What were you doing?
I know. I mumble thank you very much. Very childlike.
A little louder, please.
Thank you very much.
That's better.
Now, Elburn, what have we learned today?
That storm is not natural, and there's something living in it.
What now?
Okay. Yeah, like what?
What?
I don't know. I walked forward to see if I could get any sort of read on anything. Something roared.
Were you attacked?
I don't know. There was a flash of white, and now I'm here. You don't have to hold me so tenderly, and I get up out of your arms.
I wanted to start like checking your body, just checking you out. I want to see if there's any like markings or anything on him, like scratches or.
Yeah. As you check his body, you notice that there's no markings or scratches. You do notice that the medallion is gone. However, there is still like almost as if he was branded. It's not that bad, but there is the slight like remnant of the symbol on his chest. Just real quick, Avra and Kelfie, you've definitely explored the south side. What do you guys do after you're done with the tests that you made?
I think if we saw the group somewhere, I mean, clearly mostly congregated, we would head there. Do you think, Alfie?
Yeah, I would also obviously fill her in on my findings with my spell, and then also tell you about, and I'll say it in comment as long as there's no one around, but if there are people maybe within earshot, I'd use halfling.
Nope, yeah, you seem to be alone as you're walking back.
But I want to tell her that I clocked that elf react to Pildor's name, and that she was writing in a journal, and I want to steal the journal.
Ooh.
Okay.
I love that. I definitely think we should touch base with her as well, because also when we asked if there were any magic users, it seemed like maybe she might be one.
Yeah, she could have some magic.
Yeah.
Which means her journal might have some magic too.
So yeah,
we
that's
should be
worthwhile.
careful.
Maybe at dinner tonight, I can kind of strike up a conversation with her, and you can try to get up.
Yeah. Grab it.
Cool.
All right, so yeah, you guys are making your way there. I'll say that, especially because Kelfie knows to kind of look in that direction because she saw Elburn go. You
I'll
see,
tell her that too. I'll be like, Elburn went off on his own somewhere.
you'll see in the distance because there's only like a few huts, so there's like not a lot of obstacles to your vision. You see in the distance Pharaoh, Rev, and Atticus kind of leaning over Elburn, who's like laying on the ground.
What's going on here?
Alburn tried to kill himself.
What? What?
I didn't.
Why?
I
Why?
didn't, oh my god! I didn't try to kill myself.
I would like to hear what happened from somebody other than Elburn, if you don't mind. Atticus, what happened?
Well, I saw a body get thrown from the storm, and I kind of thought it was Elburn when I saw it happen. Yeah, I think he got struck by lightning, he said, and then his lifeless body got tossed from the storm 100 feet or whatever it was.
Jeez.
You walked into the storm, Elburn?
I was trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, and about 5 minutes ago, they told us nobody had ever gotten out of the storm alive.
And I wanted to know why.
Maybe probably because they died.
Well, I
think
curious.
you found out why.
Well, I did figure out something.
So did I, but I didn't have to die to do it.
You didn't do it. You know what? I just died. Be a little easy on me.
He's got a point.
Oh, wait, how did you... how are you here? What happened?
Did you die, or did you just... You, like, died?
No, he was dead. He was dead. I carried his dead body
died.
like 100 feet. Yeah,
Yes, I was dead.
This is
How
the
are you-
first time I've
Ray,
revived someone.
just so you know, Ray, you definitely see the fact that, because you've been observing, like you said, so you definitely see all of them congregating in one area if you did want to go over there.
Nah.
Okay, cool. Just letting you know.
I do have something that it does prompt me to do though. Whenever.
Yeah, I'll go back to you.
I love it. Nah. I'll stay over here.
I had to. Elburn was medically, clinically dead for, I don't know, 55 seconds. And I had to, it's the first, I've been trying to cast the spell for a long time, and I just kind of panicked in the moment, and Elburn is back, and I'm really glad you're back, buddy.
You have a spell that can bring people back to life from being dead?
It was amazing.
Only if they're dead, like, super recently. So if you guys die, just stick around.
And we definitely
Well,
have a place
how
for that.
recent is super recent? So there's like a time limit? So
1
we could like
minute.
die? Only a
1 minute.
minute?
Yeah, that's why when Elburn went out by himself, that was super dumb.
Yeah.
Well, I figured out something, that there's something living in the storm.
Yeah, and it is definitely in the direction of Devis. There's definitely something or someone that conjured this storm. This is not just a storm.
I wish
Seems
we
like
knew
Ava
more
was able to
information about
figure that
Devis.
out without dying.
Yeah, it was really great that I was able to figure that out without death.
Ava seems fine.
It was really great to figure out that well, it happened. I died. We're done with it. I finished.
That's it.
Is my empty bottle of butt water, did it dissipate with the spell?
Yeah, when he pressed down on the diamond, it didn't dissipate, but it shattered.
Right. You owe me a bottle.
I pull out my quarter full left bottle of butt water.
Roll a d6 for me.
Oh boy.
Oh no! I swear if that bottle's broken open.
3.
It is not shattered.
I take it out and chug it, and give the empty bottle to Atticus.
Yeah.
So you're telling me we're in the middle of an oasis with no water, and you're gonna drink the last of the butt water?
Has
As soon as
anybody
you say that-
hit him recently?
As soon
Yeah,
as you
just
say that, I for sure just gotta go.
Atticus slapped him like seconds after he was revived.
Okay, cool. I got next.
I'm a little bit more alert now. I will fight back.
Okay.
So about the storm, I can kind of lessen it as well. That's what also we discovered, just so we're
Oh,
not
That's
still
cool.
talking
That's
about
huge.
how Elburn died. But
How long can you do that?
I can do it for like in like a 60-foot little can. I can do
Big
it
gulp.
for 10 minutes, but only in that one area. I can't like move it around.
Okay, still good information. I don't know if that's gonna help us get out of here, but
Can I roll
It
a?
depends on how long we have to go in the storm to get on the other side of it.
Can I roll a nature check to see if I know of anything that would live and create storms?
100%, yeah.
A storm monster.
How deep did you get in, Albert?
14. How deep did I get in?
Like 100, 150 feet, yeah.
About half.
150 feet in.
With a 14, yeah, no, not with a 14. You know that there was, you've heard legends of dragons that were able to breathe lightning and live amongst storms. But that's with a 14, that's about all you know.
Well, there's a mountain in there. There was a very large roar that wasn't the thunder. So at least we can believe a creature is creating this rather than some sort of horrible thing, Peeldor or otherwise.
It'd still be Peeldor behind the creature, though.
We go and kill the creature. Problem solved. Seems pretty open and shut.
Except but where's the creature? Do we have to go through the storm to get to the creature?
Absolutely. I'm sure it's using it as some sort of defense.
Hilfi and I did notice that the elven woman back there seemed like maybe she knew something. Maybe we take the opportunity to talk with her over dinner.
Oh, Belidra?
Oh,
I don't know. Is that her name?
Yeah, she's really nice. She's a magic user.
Oh.
She is.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, maybe she has some stuff. She had some books and stuff, and
she like a Peeldor level magic user?
Seems like she was just like new to it, but
okay.
I don't know. Maybe she was lying to me. It wouldn't be the first time someo's lied to me.
Did you try to see if she was lying?
No, I just assume everyone's telling the truth.
Well,
over here.
Okay.
I want to tell all the truth though, all the time, especially to our friends who don't like magic. But no, fine, yeah, that's fine. Just interrupt my story about my hardships to get mad at me about lying.
It's always easier to tell.
What's going on with you today, man?
What were you lying about?
Nothing.
I just died.
Yeah, you did that to yourself, though. So
yeah, not everything is about you, Elbert.
Yeah.
Don't expect.
You don't always have to be the center of attention.
Literally
you gotta work on your gratitude, man.
You're right.
It's like everyone's around. And I just walk back towards the. I walk back towards the grand hall. I like kind of push through and.
Yeah, as you are starting to walk back and as you guys are talking, Ray, what are you up to? Just took a big bite.
I really was thinking that would go for a little while longer. My bad.
No.
So,
You're good. We're all eating. We're snacking. It's fine.
I had leftover egg rolls. It's very good. So I'm watching this. Like it was really dramatic, and then it was just like talking heads for a little bit, which is still really fascinating to Ray because I don't understand humans very well. But seeing Elburn, did I see him get tossed, or did I just see the aftermath of it?
I mean, you specifically said you were like being observant, so I would say yeah.
I would have seen him be thrown.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So that's weird.
Yeah.
And you said this whole thing is about 1,000 feet.
Yeah, diameter.
Mm-hmm. Which I know from elementary school math is the whole.
Is the whole thing? Yep.
Well, not the radius.
Not the radius.
So I am going to like, kind of as soon as I see that Elvern is like, has come to and like the situation has like neutralized.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like take a deep breath in the direction that Elvern came from, which is also, I don't know if I can confirm this, but I'm assuming is the way that he left.
Yes.
Take a deep breath and like kind of center myself, and I'm gonna use one of my spell slots to use primeval awareness.
Ooh, okay.
And I can sense whether any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead are within 6 miles, which is 31,000 feet, I checked, away.
Say that. List the creatures again for me.
Oh, fuck. Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead are present.
Within about like 400 feet away from you, you get a ping of a fiend by Rev. And
I just make a little note of that, like.
And then other than that, you get no other creatures.
I look at Tiny and I was like, "This has never happened to me before." And he kind of like. Never like, I'm sorry, Mom.
Yeah. I love it.
And then I'm just gonna slowly like saunter over.
Okay. Yeah.
I know they're heading back this way, but I'm gonna rejoin them.
Yeah. So you rejoin them as you guys are all walking back towards the Grand Sea Hall. Yeah. I mean, the evening is yours.
I'm definitely gonna go up to Rev.
I'm
gonna be like, "How are you? Are you okay? Do you feel heavy on one side or like?"
No, I'm fine. Yeah.
You don't see it, like. Sorry, I'm still learning people's things, but like, it's not actively on him, right? Like, I can't see it right now.
You can't see it right now.
Okay. It just.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say elementals were in that list?
Yeah.
You do get pings of 2 elementals towards the mountain.
Yeah. Okay, let's retcon on that. I'm not embarrassed in front of Tiny.
I apologize.
Tiny and I actually high-five each other. Okay, cool. I'm still having this conversation.
Yeah.
Got a little something going on. Okay. If you need anything, I mean, like.
Yeah. No.
He's having to say something.
I feel like we haven't had a chance to get to know each other too much. I mean, but yeah, no. I mean, yeah. If you ever want to talk later on, totally down.
Ooh, so this is just like. No offense. I'm sure you're. I was mostly so. People.
People.
I saw something on your shoulder, like it might be like a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Who?
Oh yeah.
And the Quasit like appears again, that creature that I showed you in the chat last session.
Yeah.
And he appears and says, "Hi, how you doing? I'm Elliot."
Okay. I thought that might be what was going on, because I think I met Elliot.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's just what you have going on.
What does that mean?
You've got what's his name? Little
Tiny.
Tiny.
Yeah, the big flying snake. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a drake, but I guess if you were to look at him for a long time, he could look like a flying snake. He has legs, so I guess really not like a snake, but like if a snake had legs and wings.
You're right. You don't know how to talk to people. All right,
Okay.
bye. And he turns invisible.
Oh yeah, that's how that goes.
And you kind of feel him. You feel the invisible Elliot like crawl down your back and like get into your bag. He's not a big fan of the rain. You just see Rev's like the like one of the satchels, like one of the flaps of one of the satchels, because he has 2. On his side, just one of the flaps like opens up and then closes.
I mean, that's kind of cool. Like, we all need friends, right? Like,
yeah, he's there. He's always with me, watching.
Oh.
I've always watched.
Yeah.
Always watching, Mike Wazowski. Always watching.
You get used to it. You're like tiny. Like it feels like Tiny's there all the time.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. Except when he's not there, then it's not. But I hang out with him for like 3 hours a day. It's great. Cool.
Hey Rev, I feel so bad about not listening to your story about when you got arrested. You can tell me anything you want. How did you get arrested? How were you in jail? I promise I won't judge.
I was just like, maybe we could talk about this, like later on. It's just like I feel like this was like a kind of like that was between.
Yep, of course. Yep.
I mean, you're amongst friends. What's to hide?
Yeah, but I thought like I don't know. Me and Farrah were like, but I don't know so much. Any.
Oh no, I shouldn't have brought it up now. I should have just listened to you in the first place.
Y'all got some charismatic people amongst you.
All right, well, just know that, Rev, that anytime you want to talk, I'm here for you, man. And that goes for the rest of you guys. You guys want to hold hands and just have a moment together as a team?
Nope.
I would love to.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll take Rose hand.
Okay,
I
fine.
take Attic as it's Pharaoh.
Anybody on the non-hand-holding crew, I'm
Just
going
me,
inside.
J-Mo, and
Everybody, yeah. Get in here.
All right.
Hellburn.
Come on, you're not dead anymore.
Maybe as a
Good thing.
thank you for bringing you back to life.
Come on, just hold our hands and sing just a little bit.
I put my hands on the shoulders of Rev and Atticus and just like stand outside of the circle.
and I'll take his hand off my shoulder.
Ray, get in here. Come on. We got a spot right here for you.
Come on, Ray.
You're part of the group now too. It's kind
Tiny
of a
can join
requirement.
us too.
Yeah.
Gidget climbs out on my hands.
Yes.
Can I
Ray,
hold
grab
Tiny's
Gidget's
wing?
hand.
Ray who
Reach
walks
up.
on the sky.
I want Tiny's wing.
So Tiny will like see Kelpie like reaching, and then we'll look at each other, and then Tiny will like shrink down or
Yeah.
like crouch down.
He crouches
and then
down.
I'll come and join.
Okay.
The circle.
Yay.
Kumbaya.
I'm filled. I'm like filled. I'm starved, Ray.
You definitely do get some like. Usually they don't pay attention to what you guys are doing, but people are definitely kind of like looking over at you now, like what are they?
I'll do dancing lights, so lights will just be circling around us.
Amazing.
I
Great.
start trying to pull out of Atticus's hand as soon as those
Nope,
lights come
just squeezing.
I'll go ahead and minor illusion just some more lights. Just like double the effect of the lights.
I thaumaturgy
Druid
to
craft some
boost my voice.
flowers.
Oh my god.
I'm now over there.
You start to notice that some of the people of hell start to come over to you guys and just kind of like join in and sing.
Hooray!
Yes, everyone come.
I try to
Can you
swap
ca-
out a person with my hand for.
I have a death grip on Elvis. If you want to try to get away and break it, you can, but I'm holding on.
Roll a
Yes.
okay, so you roll a let's say a sleight of hand check, Elburn, and Atticus, you roll a athletics check.
Okay. 11.
Damn it! A 9.
Ooh.
You try to you like slip out a little bit, and so now he's just like holding this
Yes.
much of your hand.
Yeah.
It's just holding on to it, not letting go. But yeah, some other people join you and they kind of sing as well. Other people are like scoffing and like, ugh, stupid.
When the song dies down, I'll speak up and say I don't know if this is a good time to tell everybody this, but I did catch crabs. I did.
From who?
Oh.
Right over there.
Make a
I can fix that for you.
Atticus, you look down at your bag, and there's now a small hole in the bottom of your bag, and a crab is not in your bag.
I had a crab a second ago in this bag. If we all just look around.
Where did you find it? Maybe we can find more crabs.
Yes. Sir, everyone search the area.
Make a perception check. Everybody make a perception check.
Everyone?
Oh, no,
Everyone. Unless if you're looking for the crab.
I
No.
want to find some crabs.
21 because I'm looking for an excuse to get out of this fucking circle.
Will you
17.
for fun, Angie, will you make one for Tiny?
Oh my god, yes.
Let's all stand side by side and walk
descend
forward.
on these crabs.
Alright, Tiny. Oh, buddy. You said
Perception.
perception?
He would have advantage because he's, I don't know,
Oh yeah.
an animal.
It's 'cause.
All animals have crab sense.
What do you get?
Yeah, 17.
17. Kelpie, make a dexterity check, and Angie, make a dexterity check for Tiny.
I will say I did get a 21 on perception.
Yeah, but you're not fast enough.
You're not fast enough.
Is Tiny at advantage or no?
No, not an advantage this time.
Haha. Haha. Dexterity. For
Can it be an animal handling?
Nope.
Nope.
11.
11. What did Tiny get?
8.
Oh, okay. You all spot the crab. It's like currently like skitter. You only see one. You only see the one crab, and it's currently skittering away from the group. Tiny like does that little like thing that birds do, where it's like a hop flight. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't like run. He like jump flights real quick, and he starts to head over towards it. And you, Kelpie, you like run and you jump and you dive and you get the crab, and you have the crab in your hands now.
I have keep the crab alive. I have an idea.
I wasn't gonna kill it.
I could speak to the crab.
Oh.
I could too. I could become a
worth a
crab.
shot.
And
I
then I
can
could
beat
find
the crab too. Hey crab,
maybe-
we're gonna eat you.
Well, maybe we can talk to the crab, get some information, and then of course we'll eat it. But
Information on fucking what? It's a.
I don't know. Maybe he knows crabs live a long time, right?
You think
Yeah,
maybe
he's gonna give up its fellows.
Maybe
You're
we
right.
can find out
No,
where there are
not-
more crabs.
Not where there's more crabs, but like maybe he has information about what the fuck is going on here. I mean, I
and
know
maybe
he's
he's been on the other side of the storm.
I have information about
Maybe
what-
this is an all-knowing crab.
What was you have information about what?
Yeah, I have information about what's going on over here.
Oh,
Oh,
Did you want to know?
yeah.
Oh,
No.
I'm sorry, I'm not used to reporting.
can I still talk to the crab?
You can. He might know more. I don't know. I just looked over there and there's some elemental stuff going on, like on the other
Where?
side of the storm,
By the mountain.
by the mountain,
Travis?
that way.
Well, that might explain what might be summoning this. What
Yeah.
Elburn saw and what I discovered.
Yeah, it's pretty elemental, if I
Good
say.
thing I went out there.
Actually, I
Yeah, thanks.
figured it out. We've established this.
I mean, I think Ray just figured it out more than you.
So, do you guys talk to the crab?
I would wild shape into a crab once we're done talking, yeah.
Okay.
But before she does it, I'll grab onto the crab so that it doesn't run away when she wild shapes.
If we talk to
I'll
this crab,
I'll
we can't
cast-
eat it.
I'll cast speak with animals too.
Okay.
You're part of the conversation.
Yeah, just so I can listen in.
All three.
All right. So, you.
I'll be like the translator. I'll tell everybody else what them.
yeah.
It's a good idea.
How long do crabs live? I feel like Kelpie would know this. So I'm asking.
Fuck, I don't know. This is not something I know offhand.
Well, I was just thinking if they're like a creature with a short lifespan, then this crab's probably not gonna know anything.
No, crabs can live. Crabs can live a
Live a
while.
long time.
Crabs
Okay.
can live a while.
Crab is the
I honestly
archmage
have
of
no
Devis.
idea.
Lobsters are the one that live like could potentially be like hundreds or in fact immortal.
Yeah.
We need to find
A
the lobster.
blue crab lives 1 to 8 years, while a hermit crab can live 30 to 70 years.
That's amazing because this has been happening for like a year.
Yeah.
Spider crab could live like 100 years.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
I
so.
wanted to make sure it wasn't like housefly.
No, you definitely know that he could. There is a chance he could know something about before everything. So you.
And
Sorry. Go ahead.
Is it a young crab? Can I tell just by looking at it if it's a young crab or an old crab?
Need an old crab and a young crab.
Make a nature check.
On a list of things that Zach didn't know he had to plan for.
This is definitely on that list.
Is this crab like hot or is it like
Yeah.
Is it
Am I
an
gonna be like
attractive crab?
attracted to this crab?
sexy crab?
We could just make more crabs.
Hey, Crab, who's the hottest in our group?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Except you're sending
no,
the
Kelby's like
12-year-old
12 years
to
old,
make more
What'd you get on your nature check?
19.
19. This is definitely an older crab.
Cool.
Abra, crying Abra, has a hold of the crab as you wild shape into a crab. Yeah, I mean, easily enough, you all kind of watch Kelpie just like spread her arms out, and then like as she shifts down, like these like crustacean claws like peer out of her side, and she lands as a small little red crab right next to this one.
I'm gonna get down in so I can listen in.
Hello. Do I know if it's a boy or a girl crab?
With that nature check, no, you don't.
It's got a penis hanging out of its side.
Hello, friend.
Hey, how you doing?
We've been doing better. I can tell you that.
Are you gonna eat me?
I'm not, no.
How'd you do that?
How did I change into a crab?
Yeah, that's cool shit.
Oh, thank you. It's something I can just, like, do. I don't know. Thanks.
Are you gonna eat me?
I am not, no.
All right.
I might.
Whoa! That guy is talking to me.
Yeah, he
I
does
don't want
that
to lie to
sometimes.
you. I may eat you at some point.
I'll try really hard not
I
to let him
appreciate
eat
your
you.
honesty, God.
No problem.
I mean, he's not, but that's okay. So we obviously not obviously. I don't know if you.
Hey,
saw us,
how
but-
you doing?
Oh no. I don't think. Kind of shift my crab body towards Atticus and say, I don't think crabs have long attention spans
No, it doesn't seem
or
like.
memory
No.
or
What's your
intelligence.
name, friend?
What?
What's your name?
What does that mean?
What do other crabs call you?
Click clack.
Nice to meet you, Click Clack. I'm Atticus, and I'm gonna hold out my hand to shake his.
He pinches your hand in your finger.
Okay.
All right.
Like, I'm Kelpie. Nice to crab meet you. I mean, not crab meet. I'm sorry. That was
Imitation crab meat.
That's me. I'm just imitation crab meat.
I can't move. I'm trying to move and I can't.
We'll let you move in a second.
Yeah. So do
All
you
right.
know what's happening here with the storm? Do you remember before the storm happened?
Yeah.
Do you remember like the moment the storm happened and where it came from and how it happened?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about it? Paint a picture for me, Click Clack.
Yeah.
Can you
Okay.
do it?
Yeah.
Start now, please. Can you please start now?
Oh. It's the big guy.
The
Big guy. Can you just describe what the big guy looks like?
Yeah.
Big like me?
No. Much bigger.
Oh.
And the big guy started the storm.
I think so. Yeah.
Why do you think that?
'Cause it looked like he did. And he was real mad.
Oh.
Super mad.
Oh.
What did the big guy look like?
He's, well, what do you want to know?
Did he look like any of us?
What does that mean? Like,
Did he look like the beings you see around you right now?
yeah, much bigger though.
Okay. So like stood on two limbs
Yeah.
instead of our like mini. Stood
Yeah.
on two.
Yeah.
Did he have like fur or like
No.
scales?
No.
How much bigger? If you took me and put another me on top of me, how many me's would it take to equal this guy?
That's really hard to tell because of how small I am.
Roughly.
Roughly? I don't know. 40?
Holy
40.
shit.
But he looks like us.
Yeah, big beard, blue skin. Yeah.
Blue skin.
Yeah.
Big
He's over there. And he kind of like, in Abra's hand, like, looks towards the mountain.
Okay, so that adds up.
Mhm.
Hey, say you wouldn't know where we could find more crabs like you, do you?
I'm
Where your
one of a
home is? Where
kind.
you live? Where you don't have like a family or friends that live.
Oh no,
somewhere
they
nearby?
all got eaten, for sure.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry
People
to hear
here are
that.
hungry.
You're hungry?
You're hungry?
No, people. The people here.
Yeah.
The people
Well,
that
I
look
mean,
like
yeah.
you. The other gods.
The other gods. Yeah. So as far as you know, are you the only crab left?
Sure.
So there's not another crab that you could like make more crabs with to increase your population and thrive?
That is a rude question.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's really none of your business who I do things with, honestly.
I wasn't asking
Do you
for
Do you
details.
prefer
I just
like a certain side dish that you would like to be eaten with?
What?
Do you have like a favorite food? What's your
you
favorite?
don't have to answer.
My
that.
favorite food is like algae and like small morsels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
No, I haven't seen another crab in quite some time.
Do you prefer hanging out in the water or on the sand like this?
In the sand for sure. The water's real scary now.
Why is the water scary?
Because of the big guy.
Storm.
Big guys affecting the water just because it's stormy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Water's rough. I go tumbling.
I kind
It's kind of fun.
so you
but
do kind
dangerous.
of like the water.
Yeah, a lot of
Oh,
people
okay.
died though.
It's dangerous.
So you
Okay.
like to tumble?
What?
You like to tumble?
I'm a tumbler.
Good to know. All right, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to tumble this guy in a pot of butter.
I was not thinking that, but I was gonna ask if you had anything more to ask Click Clack.
No, I think
Yeah.
I'm good.
Can
No.
you not eat me?
Yeah, we're gonna try. And
I
as soon
can't
as
do
he
that.
says that, I'm gonna take out of my wild shape, grab Click Clack, and just throw him away from everybody. And
Okay, so
just
you
let
come
him go and-
you come out of wild shape, and then Kelpie tries to grab Click Clack from your hands, Abra. Do you let her?
She's
You're
trying
muted.
to.
You're muted. You're muted.
You're still muted.
You're muted.
I have no idea what's been going on, so yeah.
You let her
Sweet.
grab it?
I guess yeah.
Okay, so you grab the crab. Are you throwing it towards the water, or are you throwing it towards like? Where
I want to throw it since he said he didn't like water. I'm gonna respect his wishes, and I just want to throw it still in the on land, but as far as I can, just like away from everybody else. And if there's
Great.
like rocks or something, I can try to get him behind.
Angie,
to give
can
him
you
just a fighting chance?
Angie, can you make a dexterity check for Tiny for me?
Seems like the conversation didn't go well.
I swear, Tiny's the only one that gets some of this crab.
Seems like kind of a mean way to kill him.
Well,
Yeah.
it seems like we're also surrounded by the village here who might kill the shit out of us, but that's all right.
Okay. Am I okay? Is Tiny stats my stats? Because I just have dexterity saving throw for him.
Whatever his dexterity saving throw is, then.
Okay. Well, 12 plus 4 is 16.
16. So, Kelpie, you come out of wild shape, and you grab Click Clack out of Abra's hands, and you turn and you toss him, and immediately Tiny just and snaps him midair, crunches down on him, and Tiny eats Click Clack.
Spit it out! Spit it out! Spit it out!
He's like already swallowing, like you.
I'm saying that in Draconic.
He like pauses. He's looking at Angie or Ray.
It's the only crab left. It's the last crab.
And swallows it the rest of the way.
Oh, well, I tried.
What did you try? Why did you throw that crab?
Because I was the one who caught him, but I wasn't gonna eat him. So for whoever needed to eat him should be the one to be good enough at hunting to have hunted him.
Well, I did catch
the
him.
crab.
What do you mean I didn't hunt the? I caught the crab.
Well, you
I
caught
hunted
it
the
after
crab.
I lost it.
That wasn't the same crab.
That was the same crab.
These
How
people
do you
are
know
starving.
it was the same crab?
It was the same
He's
crab.
the last crab.
I guess that's true. Click did say he was the last crab, but even still,
You know,
It wasn't
next
that
time
big
I'm
of a
not
starving.
sharing any crabs that I find with you guys.
And because
Okay.
you still have Speak with Animals cast, Atticus, as the first few crunches happen, you definitely hear some like, ah, shit! Oh, no! Oh, God, no!
I gotta say, that was the worst way that crab could have gone. I was gonna have a whole ceremony. I was at least gonna do it respect.
you were gonna put him in boiling water.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Crabs don't feel pain. So I've been told.
Oh,
Yeah.
God! Oh!
As like a tear just rolls down Atticus' face.
I was gonna invite the crab to our game of honesty or compelled action.
Ooh.
The clack, I think, would have enjoyed
What
that.
is that?
We're all talking about this crab like we're like malnourished. Everyone here is malnourished, and you threw that shit away.
Well,
So-
if you're malnourished, you can have some of. Oh wait, no, I don't have the spell prepared. Never mind.
I just said we're not. They are.
I'll be able to create a bunch of food tomorrow. Everything will be fine.
So,
Maybe
just
we
for just
don't
so I
tell
know
people
for the
about crabs.
so I know for DM's sake, Atticus, were you translating everything? So does everybody else
Yeah,
know
yeah,
everything
yeah.
that was said?
For
Okay,
sure.
so
Yeah.
all of you do know everything that Click Clack said about the blue bearded man, large man.
Nature check.
Yeah, yeah.
Our
if,
40 Atticus.
I'm gonna have Elburn simply for his sheer length of existence, and Avra both roll history checks.
History.
History or nature, whichever you prefer.
Oh, damn it! Now I forgot what I'm.
Nature.
Oh.
If it's nature, can I roll?
No. You'll see. You'll see what.
16.
Both of you got 16.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago. The gods, quote unquote, that created Erubrion were known as the Great Ones. You both know about that. Everyone knows about the Great Ones. Their first children were the Great Children. The Great Children were the ones that came up with the races that populate Erubrion today. They also created what some would consider abominations, other creatures. One of the Great Children created giants, and they are legendary creatures. And from everything with the blue skin and the height and what's been going on, both of you can conclude logically that Click Clack and everything that was going on have just described that there, on top of that mountain, is a storm giant. Which is, also with a 16, you know to be the most powerful giant there is. And you also thought that they've been extinct for quite some time. So that is what he described. You don't officially know that that's what's up there. You've not seen it. But from what he described and from what's going on, that would be what it is.
You said there was 2 of those up there, Ray?
Ray would know.
You're muted.
You're muted, Ray. And Ray, you would know that a giant would not have pinged you. So the elemental pings that you got would not be from a giant.
Gotcha. And I also can't tell number or location, like exactly. I can just like tell.
Oh, okay, that's true. So you got elemental feelings from the
Yeah, like
mountain.
vibe.
But you do know that. But you still do know that a storm
Yeah.
giant would not give you that feeling.
Well, so I do know that a storm giant wouldn't give me this feeling.
Okay.
That I have. So I don't know. I just know that whatever.
Could it be
felt
both?
is-
A storm
a storm-
giant with some elemental or elementals friends?
Maybe like he has friends. Yeah.
Sounds
I
like
guess
what
friends.
it is.
Well, like friends.
If he's able to summon a whole storm, perhaps
Yeah.
he's able to summon other things.
Can I? Yeah, I was gonna say, can
Or
I?
he's using them to summon the storm.
It's true. He could have summoned them, and then they summoned the storm.
Got
and they
it.
could all get
He
bad.
gets off scot-free.
Yeah, and he's like, "Cool, you guys do your thing, you know."
Yeah, I'll be over here funding you. An adventure capitalist over here.
Could I roll an Arcana to see what kind of elementals would cause a storm?
Storm.
I'll say it's from the same like history check. I'll just go ahead and have you keep the same roll. You know that you've never heard of an elemental being able to summon a storm, but for an elemental to survive in a storm like this, it would almost assuredly have to be an air elemental.
Well, it's probably an air elemental, if it's anything.
How do you know that?
Who told you?
Are you just guessing, or
Have you seen one
Yes.
before?
could be water
seen
because
one
it's
before.
raining?
No, probably.
Have you seen an air elemental before?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
How long ago?
long time ago.
like 50 years ago.
Longer than that.
Like 50 years ago, he says.
There you go. There you go.
All right, I assume you're telling the truth.
How old
Albert's
do
a
I?
trustworthy guy.
How old do we think that Elburn is? Or have you even
You
said?
think that Elburn is? I think. Have you ever told them what your age is?
I lied.
I know. Have you? I know. What did you tell them? Do you like? Did you tell them, or have you ever even said the lie? I'm trying to remember.
I think I said I was like 100.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because I was
yeah.
like,
Half
because we had the conversation, we're like, who's oldest? And Farrell was like,
Right.
me, and I was like, well,
Yeah, he's technically a half elf. So and half elves do live to be like. However, even him saying that, like 100, like a little over 100 years old, you feel like he should look older, if that's truly what his age is, because half elves only live to be about like
I also haven't
152
told him
years
that
old.
I'm a half elf.
That's true. You just see ears. That's true.
You look good for your age, Elburn, by the way.
Can I?
Thank you.
How close is it to like dinner time?
I mean, it's
Well,
like
dinner just went down Tiny's gullet.
at this
Yeah.
point, it's like 7 p.m.
Let's wrap it up.
It's pretty much
Yeah,
like
should
it's
we-
pretty much getting to nighttime now, especially with the storm.
Maybe we all go in for a meal and see what we can find out from everyone else here. Maybe don't
Yeah.
divulge too much information right this second.
I mean, I don't see why we shouldn't share what we know with the people who live here. They're trapped just like we are.
The people
That's
who
true.
live here are around us right now, aren't they?
No, you guys are off to the side a little bit. They're more so towards the village.
Well, we called them over for the fucking.
Oh yeah, there are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There are some people.
They fucking heard
the
everything.
kumbaya.
Yeah.
Saw the whole crab fiasco.
Yeah.
They probably left
That's
when
why.
we started
That's why I
talking
was like,
crabs.
they're gonna kill us.
We were talking to crabs. They're like, "Ooh."
Can you imagine?
Honestly, like after the singing and stuff, like some of them did kind of like stand around, but not many, and they are so preoccupied with themselves that they're not like listening to your conversation and like really paying attention. They were just like, all right, that was kind of a nice moment. Now I'm really tired because that's more energy than I've spent in about a month. So go ahead. Ray, I saw you raise your hand so politely. What do you need?
So, I just want to check. I want to look up into the dome of the storm. Can I see the moon yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You think that that'll probably be more in the like midnight-ish
Okay.
time frame? Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's good to keep checking. I'll just keep in mind that you're kind of like consistently
Yeah.
checking in on that. Avra, yes, you guys don't have to raise your hands.
Does it seem like I probably would have thought about this earlier, but does it seem like everybody here is like spacey and stuff just because of malnutrition, or does it seem like maybe there's like something weird going on?
I won't make you roll for that. It seems like it's simply just malnutrition and pure
Okay.
exhaustion.
I didn't want to not check.
No, for sure. Yeah, it's good to check. They all seem to be cognizant and like mentally aware when they're talking to you. They're just really tired, and so they can't engage for long.
Okay, yeah.
I cast mending on all of their clothes as they are there.
Yeah, easily
Threw it in
enough.
the circle.
They're very happy about it.
Now, should
Well-
I go borrow that one lady's notebook?
There's like
and
one
see what
person
she
that you
wrote?
like. There's like one person that you like mend their like slacks had become like kind of like capris, and you mend them down to real slacks again, and they like look at you kind of annoyed, and they like rip them up into capris again. Like,
Oh my god.
Amazing.
I don't understand. And
there's
I
like
guess
it's
mending
hot.
Again.
It's hot. Stop! It's hot.
Oh,
Here.
oh,
There's
sorry.
more fabric we could use. We can use those for bandages. That's a good idea.
That's smart.
Well, mending doesn't just create. I shouldn't have said that honestly, because mending doesn't just create fabric.
Create fabric.
It more so puts them back together. So you're not able to mend everybody back to like their original, but like rips and tears you're able to put together.
I am gonna go talk to Belidra,
Belidra, yeah.
Belidra, the elf
Yeah,
lady.
I'll head in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to take her notebook.
Okay. So
You
yeah.
know what now?
You.
I'm gonna take her notebook.
Like you took
Why
that
are you
crap.
gonna,
I'm only
Why are you
gonna
gonna take
borrow
this-
it.
She's just
Poor
gonna read
lady's
it while I
notebook.
talk to her.
why don't you just ask her what's in the notebook?
Cause then she can lie.
Well, could we try asking what's in the notebook before we take it? Maybe she'll let us read it.
Yeah, I mean, she told me it was like magic. She was studying up on some magical spells. Maybe it's her spell book.
I mean, maybe if we
maybe I could
tell
ask
her.
her.
Yeah,
If
you
we
know
tell her
spell
about
books.
what's out there, maybe she'll be willing to let us help. We don't have to steal it. We don't always have to steal everything.
Well, I was
could also-
only doing it because she had the reaction about Pildor, and so if she's on his side or knows something that she won't divulge, that was a bigger word than I
The last
expected.
time
to
you
use.
tried something like that, you almost died.
That was
Yeah,
like sneaking into his mansion, which we all agreed on.
That's true.
It's not like I
Right.
tried.
We're
I
all
had the
equally
idea
at
and
fault.
did it
I will
myself.
say, I don't know if you're purposely, like, you might purposely be omitting this, but I do want to remind Pharaoh and Rev that you did have a conversation with her, and
Yep.
she did say that her recognition of Pildor was more so simply just recognizing the name.
Yeah.
But whether you
I
choose to
do
say
have-
something with it or not.
I do have Zone of Truth. I think
You're muted, Rev.
It seemed like when we talked to her, she just really just recognized his name. It didn't seem.
Yeah. He's a public figure, so I figured that she just knows him by the name. And
Can we at least try to ask her for the notebook before we take
I can
it?
maybe offer one of my if she's still learning, I have plenty of basic level magic books that I could offer to her in return for seeing her journal.
I think if we show that
Okay.
we're willing to help, she might let us. she
But
might
you know,
let us do it.
Kelpie, maybe like stand to the side in case she says no, and then you'll be our plan B.
We could also, I think we should ask maybe Dorvo and Hullix about these creatures up
Yeah.
on, like,
I agree.
whatever they are. Yeah.
You may have been here a year and haven't noticed them though.
I mean, if they can't wander outside the storm.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, we noticed them not wandering outside the storm. Besides Elburn, that was
Yeah,
dumb.
no, it's-
You also had magical abilities that allow
Yeah,
you
we're
to do
pretty,
so.
we're pretty powerful.
Kelby thinks everyone's magical.
But just don't put yourself in unnecessary
No.
harm's way, Kelpie, please.
Yeah, please.
After what happened
Yeah,
last time,
Kelpie, please, says a random
Yeah.
guy standing next to all of you. Please,
I
Kelpie.
cast,
Yeah.
I cast mending on the guy's.
We're a wild.
Who are you, and how do you know my name?
I don't know, and they called you Kelpie.
You don't know who you are?
Nah.
Who are you?
Huh?
What's your
Who are
name?
you?
Me?
Yes.
I'm a woohoo. You know what I mean? I just feel
Well,
like
hi, woohoo, I'm Avra.
I feel like I'm just here enjoying the time that we have together.
Are you drunk?
No.
Can I do an insight
Are
check?
you
Yeah,
okay?
go ahead and make an insight check. Yeah.
Are you a storm giant?
Rev, wait, I can't hear Rev. What did you say?
Have you been drinking the salt water? You really.
I rolled an 8.
You think that he's telling the truth? However, Rev hit the nail on the head. Rev, when you say that, you see him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I mean, I'm thirsty, so I'm drinking water."
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Oh no.
Dude,
I'm
you're
gonna
Okay,
lay on.
fine,
I'm gonna
bye.
lay on hands 5 points. I can cure like one poison or condition that's affecting him. If it works.
Oh man.
Oh no.
I
took his
take him by the
joy.
hand. I take him by the hand. I lead him back to a safe place.
Thanks.
Hey,
man.
hey,
Safe
Yahoo,
place.
Wahoo.
My name's Steve.
Thought I was helping. I'm so sorry, Steve.
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 Yeah.
Hi, Steve.
Gooey's.
I'm gonna look
My
around
whole
and-
family died.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me
Did
too.
salt water help that?
I am thirsty.
Can
And he starts to head towards the
No,
gate.
don't.
So
No, Steve.
Yeah.
Don't drink the salt
Drink
water.
that.
Did you have a friend named Alan, perchance?
What?
Alan!
Oh my god.
No, but people often think that my name is Alan.
That's weird.
And they like
Start-
they like call for me and they're like Alan, and then they remember my name's Steve and then they start calling for my proper name.
That makes sense. They're very similar names.
Steve, I am so worried about you.
I'm worried about
Yeah,
you
you
too,
should,
Dad.
Oh no.
We should dig these people a well, and then tomorrow I can fill it with nice fresh water. Cause
Yeah.
we should, yeah.
Why don't you get started on the well? And then
All
the
right,
rest
I
of us
will.
have
I
a
will.
light
I will.
conversation.
I'll get started.
Wait,
No,
me or Steve?
Steve, why don't you go sit down? Why
He
don't you
just
go sit
starts
down?
digging his hands in the sand.
No, Steve, I can
Steve,
do
please.
it faster, and I'll go into a giant hyena and start taking. I'll
And I'll
just
just-
go
I'll-
digging.
I'm gonna hug Steve and be like, it's okay. It's okay. It's gonna be okay.
Gosh, tomorrow's gonna be a much better day for these people.
Yeah, it really is. We're about to change our lives.
Maybe we should tell everyone to go to bed early.
Yeah. Get some rest.
Yeah. Tomorrow
I,
morning, I'm going to create 45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water. But tonight, sorry.
They're all gonna get
Okay.
sick.
Hopefully
lean over to
everybody makes
Ram.
it through the night.
I lean over to Ram.
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna have
go,
to
"Hey,
change my
wait,
spells.
Wait, while Kelsey's digging stuff, let's go talk to this woman so she doesn't try to steal something and get herself fucking killed.
All right. So as you all make your way back to the Grand Sea Hall, you are actually greeted by a very pleasant sight of Tommy over a fireplace, seemingly cooking a bunch of fish that were in barrels that crash landed with the Winged Queen.
I did also buy nice food.
Yes,
Just
you.
throwing that
Yeah,
out
that
there.
is true. You did, and so some of the food was lost, but it seems like some of it was left, including something that would easily survive in the salt water, the fish. And so he seems to be cooking, and there's like everybody who's there. More people who were not in the hut earlier are all in there. They're all like laughing and definitely seem to be a bit more jovial than the last time you saw all these people.
We don't have any more butt water, Albert. You just chugged the last of it in my face, right?
I look up. I drank it so fast that for sure after death, I'm like a little drunk right
Oh
now.
yeah, you're definitely a little drunk.
And I just go, yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. Thanks. I appreciate it. You're a real team
All right,
player. Let's walk away.
I just went through a lot. It's not like we're not.
I'm gone. I walked away, man.
And I walk away.
My bad.
I'll just give a thumbs up as I'm walking.
So yeah, you see everybody from the village in there, except I will say, because you're probably looking, it's still not time, but you don't notice Dominic in there, Ray.
I don't notice him in there at all.
Nope.
Cool.
It's not time, but you don't notice him
Yeah.
in there. Yeah.
And I'll probably stay behind a good 10, 15 minutes, making like a really deep hole, and then like as my hyena, just like sit on the haunches and like make a little like it's a raised
A little
well,
border.
like I'm building
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
sandcastle, and like put, yeah.
Push your snout using it. Tiny
I'll
helps
spend
you
way
out
too
a little
much
bit.
time on it.
I'm gonna,
Yeah.
as soon as we get there, find
Belidra.
Yas and sit next to her.
Um,
What is she doing? I
she's-
don't want to like.
I'll go.
She's just sitting on a stump writing in her journal.
I'll join you.
Yeah, I'll go over there as well.
She's just sitting, and she's like she's writing in her journal, and then there's like a crate next to her that just has like a wooden slab that has some like fish meat on it that she's like munching on a little bit.
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt.
Hello, yes.
My friends here told me that you are a magic user as well.
Oh well, maybe a better word for it is a trainee. I'm just beginning to start my journey.
Well, that's lovely. I'm always looking to learn as much as I can. I have a lot of basic spell books and things like that. I
Oh.
was just wondering if you would want to look through any of it, and if maybe I could look through whatever spell books you have to see if there's anything that I don't know.
I have quite a few of the basics. What do you? I mean, what are you looking for?
Well, we're just honestly looking for a way to help everyone. We think.
Right.
I'm gonna kind of glance over to who came with me, Atticus and Pharaoh.
Yeah.
To just like
and
see
Elburn.
and Elburn, just to try to like lock eyes to be like, should I tell her?
Yeah.
I'll nod my head yes.
We think we might have gotten somewhat to the bottom of what's going on here, and I think it's gonna take as much.
You've only been here a
magic as
mere
we have.
few hours.
We're badasses.
Oh, please don't listen to him.
Oh, my.
We think that
He might. You should probably keep him away from the seawater.
Good.
This has just been booze.
Oh, right.
He drank the last of it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I died.
Oh.
He's fine.
That's funny. All right.
So anyway,
Yes.
We believe that something may have summoned this storm.
Interesting.
We think with our collective knowledge that it might be a storm giant and maybe an air elemental or two.
And you see her eyes get wide at this. A storm giant.
Yeah.
But those have been said to be extinct for centuries.
That's what we thought as well, but
We talked to a crab, seemed to confirm it.
yeah.
Oh, that is an ability that I know is... I've met people who are capable of such a thing. I envy your ability to do that. Where's the crab now? I'm sure that...
Fucking dead.
Oh.
We travel with animals, and sometimes they are. I don't know if you've seen the creature we have outside. He had that as a little.
The
snack.
moondrake. Yes, it was quite.
That giant hyena threw it at it.
Hey, Elburn, would you mind going and getting me a glass of water?
Anybody else want any?
While you're up, I'll grab one.
Yeah. I die and I become the servant. Is that it? Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
I walk away and go get one.
Yeah, there's a barrel inside the Grand Sea Hall that has some cups next to it that they've like poured some rainwater in, and there's some fresh water over there that you're able to grab for him.
I come right back.
God damn it! I was really hoping you'd be gone longer than that.
I'm drunk, not stupid. I give out all the water.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what you do have in your spell books, or I've noticed you keep a journal. I keep a lot of journals as well.
Yes, this is my personal journal.
Do you have anything in there that maybe you've experienced since you've been here that maybe could inform?
It could help us if we could maybe look at the journal.
Oh, I mean, I only put down my personal thoughts of events. I don't,
Well, as a magic user, even if you are just a beginning magic user, I would love to hear your input and your opinion on things since you've been on the island.
Any information could help.
Right.
You're welcome to, and I kind of open my book bag of holding, so she can kind of see the like sheer fucking amount of books that I have.
It just looks like an empty bag.
Oh, I get. Look, books.
You see her kind of look over, and she kind of like looks at one and nods, and looks at one and nods, and she's like, "Yes, I have copies of most of these." And well, I can tell you that in my year of time here, I have determined that the storm is definitely unnatural. It seems to be. She's like starting to look at all of you, and she's like starting to get a little embarrassed. Seems to be conjured by something.
Yep. It's about 20 minutes to figure that out.
Perhaps a creature towards the mountain near the north of.
Yes.
That's
That's all spot on.
That's about.
Yeah, you should give yourself more credit. You seem to be really observant.
It took
How
me
old
a very
how
long
old is
time
the elven one?
to figure out all of that. She actually looks pretty young for an elven woman.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hard to tell though. It's hard to tell with elves.
Yeah,
but
if we could just take a look at that journal.
I just fail to see how looking at my personal journal will...
I'll tell you what. I'll let you look at mine.
Yeah, you can look at. I have several. You can look at mine from when I was like 13 if you want. It's very embarrassing.
Yeah, you can look through this. Which one?
That's like right around the time people become adults, and that's fucked up.
Atticus, go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage.
All right, persuasion. Cool. First roll.
Watch there be nothing in this journal.
23.
She looks at you. If you truly think it would help, all right. And she shuts the journal and slides it over to you.
You know,
I'll offer her mine if she wants to. If she wants it,
she takes it.
Do you know the name Xavier Senax?
No, can't say I've ever heard that name before.
Cool. Just wonder.
Okay. She like, with one finger, kind of like opens up your journal and starts like combing through the pages a little bit. Do you begin to read her journal?
I can read it really fast if you.
I would hand it to Avery. You're a much better reader than me.
It's in Elvish.
Oh, can't.
I got you.
I got it. I got it, Albert.
Oh wait, yes I can. Yes I can.
I do not.
Sorry,
Okay.
but you can if you want to.
Thanks. And I reach out and try to.
Oh no.
I'm gonna try to read it over his shoulder.
Okay, easily enough. He sways a little bit, but you're able to. You kind of like you match it. Yeah, you match his sway so that you can read
I'm
it.
gonna lean over to Farabin. Why would we get the hotel?
I don't know. Elvish is my like main language.
I do.
You
I know a little bit of Elvish.
you where do you start?
At the beginning.
Okay.
Very good place.
At the very beginning, there's some journal entries about how this is the journal that she explains in the first couple entries that this is the journal that she will use on her expedition and what she is looking for. It talks about the rumors of the dragon and Frostgrass. As you continue to read, it talks about Captain Pollux and the Grand Sea Hall and how she has procured travel in that way. There's then some entries about how the first chunk of the trip is pretty uneventful. There's no other passengers other than her and the crew. She bought out the entire ship and spent 100 platinum doing so.
Good God.
Which is 1,000 gold.
I say that out loud as I read.
And
good God.
and it talks about then there's like kind of like a ripped page, not out of it, like not torn out of it, just like a disheveled page that has no writing on it. And then the next page talks about how they have crash landed, shipwrecked onto a section of land. Then there is some detailing about how people have tried to leave the storm and have not been able to. And basically, it is just a recounting of the events that you have been told. And then as you get further in, it's her, at first she's like, I think that this storm is unnatural. And then, like, that kind of goes into, like, tests that she does, which is, like, with the wind, where she talks about how, like, the wind, the way it changes directions, leads her to believe that it is magical in nature. And yeah, I mean, other than that, like, pretty much everything that she has said to you. The last journal entry being that more newcomers have arrived. Also, there was, like, a journal entry for every new ship that joined. You find out that in the past year, it seems like 7 to 10 ships have shipwrecked here. The most recent one describes a crew that crash landed from an airship, and that they were heading to Devis looking for Pildor Swiftdream. And then she has like a little thought on that, and she's like, why are they looking for the Emerald Union? And then looks like she was beginning to kind of recollect the conversation that she had with Rev and with Pharaoh about Pildor, and kind of like is just like summarizing that in her most recent journal entry. And yeah, that's what you get. It was pretty just straightforward, just a journal of her experiences so far on this voyage.
You're very detailed.
Well, yes, if I'm to write a book on my experiences, I need as detailed notes as I can take. How is your family, Atticus?
They're doing well. They're held up in whatever town they're in that I forget the name of it. But they're holding up well.
That's good. These scoundrels, these gray tip vanguards. I apologize that happened to you. That's upsetting.
It's a real shame. And Atticus just kind of look at the floor.
Yeah.
What happened?
And Ray, when she says that, the name Gray Tip Vanguards pings in your mind. Do you remember what I messaged you? Yep, cool. So.
Who are they?
It's nothing. It's just something that
Can't be true.
I gotta deal with. Thanks. And I'm trying to take my journal back.
She lets you. She doesn't fight you on it. But she does, like, as soon as you do that, she does hold her hand out for Elburn to give her back.
Oh, yeah, and I toss it trying to get it into her hand.
Yeah, she dexterously is able to catch it, and just kind of put it back in her satchel. Avra, you notice when she opens her satchel, it looks like an empty bag, and she drops the book and it seems to disappear.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna scour through my books tonight to see if I can find any more information that might be useful. If you find anything, please let us know.
I'll see what I have. Most of the books that I brought on this trip are of the fauna and flora of the northern continents. But I will see if I have anything on the history of the great children and the creation of giants. I'll see if I have anything.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for being so thorough. It seems like the gods have blessed us with a capable group of adventurers.
I don't know if I would call this place a blessing, but thank you.
Literally.
Literally hell.
Ray's right. It sucks. Atticus, what happened to everything?
What about everything?
The great tit vanguard.
And you know that Elburn, you do know that you've never heard of the Gray Tip Vanguards, but you do know that the Gray Tips are a mountain range in southern Ara, near Duskull. You know about that as well, Kelty.
Just that they're the worst.
What'd they do?
Just terrible things. I don't really. Just they're bad people.
Angie, make a Constitution saving throw at advantage.
Yikes.
At advantage.
Wow.
It's a saving throw, and she's within 10 feet. She gets a +4
Okay.
of me. Just throwing it out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Oh, is that always?
Yeah, any saving throw you make within 10 feet of me, you get a +4. with
Paladins,
my
man.
charisma modifier.
Hot damn.
What'd you
Oh,
get?
then I got 22.
22. Atticus, make a perception check.
Oh, I see. That's smart.
13.
Yeah, okay. You notice nothing. Ray is very practiced in hiding her emotions.
Just as a note, after Kelfie finished the well, she'll like look over and we'll have seen everybody's reading what looks like to be journals, and they're heavy, so assume she's not needed.
Yeah.
So she'll go out of wild shape, but stay in that area and start building Biscuit a little castle in the sand.
Amazing, yeah. And you're doing this because like there is some wind. It's but it's big enough inside. You're doing this inside the Grand Sea Hall, so like the well is inside there, and the castle that you're building is inside there as well, so that the wind doesn't affect it too much. So just so you know, you are like within earshot and kind of like can see what's going on, like you said. All right. Anybody doing anything else?
What Where are we? What time is it?
Well, we can jump to midnight unless there's anything that anybody else
Oh.
does in the meantime.
I will say, just so I can get it out of the way, the fact that he died is going to really start coming in about midway through the drunk.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And he's just going to, like, excuse himself quietly to some corner, and he's going to be his meditations are going to be a little fraught.
Yeah, totally. Is anybody else do anything throughout the night?
Before bed, I want to start working on, maybe I'll ask Pharaoh for some help. I'm gonna
Those cats, man.
I'm
Like
gonna
the rosette.
take some of the parchment, like the loose parchment that I have, and try to like start binding it together. I want to make Elburn a gratitude journal.
Easily enough, with the help of Pharaoh's mending, you are able to bind these pieces of parchment together into a small little booklet.
And I'm gonna just spend some time. I might take a couple nights, like making the front really nice,
Okay.
and like writing him some prompts.
Okay. Great. That's what you're doing, for
such
sure.
as the people who have saved my life the most are, and then there's
Oh my
5
God.
blanks.
Great.
Mad lib.
Anybody else doing anything throughout the night? You can all feast and find yourself a hammock to sleep in.
I want to work on that big well. If there's any, I have like a carpenter's kit, just trying to maybe line it with wood or
Yeah.
so it's not just sand.
Easily done.
I'm gonna just like kind of pull off some of the like older things that I've sewn onto my leather armor. That's like the accoutrement of like the foliage and stuff, and kind of now that we're in a coastal area, I'm kind of shifting into that, like, and maybe getting some, like, if I can find some palm fronds or some
Totally.
other shenanigans, just going at it with my weaver's tools.
Yeah, easily enough. You're able to do that. You don't find too many palm fronds just because it's a pretty barren beach where you guys are.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're able to definitely find stuff, especially some shells maybe too.
Yeah, like some shells on my shoulders.
Yeah, some shell pauldrons.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, easily enough. Pharaoh, are you up to anything other than helping Avra with her little booklet?
Right before going into my trance, I cast Sending to Drigo.
Okay.
Mostly just to see if it works, because we're like in this weird.
Yeah, you cast Sending, and what do you say to him?
Crazy day. Elburn died. Typical.
Typical.
I revived him. Feels good. We're trapped. Island. Storm giants. People for 1 year. Hope I see you before then.
Hope I see you. Is where it ends. So that's not bad. You hear him say. You do hear him respond. You hear him say, "What? Are you okay? How is Elburn alive? You brought him back? You're so cool. I hope you're okay. I'm a little scared. Love you."
Respond back immediately. Love you. I love you. I'm okay. Everything's okay. Just normal adventuring stuff. I revived him. I've been kind of working my life to do this, but I did it.
You hear him respond, "That's awesome. You're my hero. I am getting bored. There's only so many books, but the taverns are fun. Can't wait to see you again soon. Be careful."
I wish I could send another spell, but I used my 3rd level slot on Revivify. Alright, that's
Fucking
all I do.
Elburn.
That's all I
Rev,
do.
Rev, you doing anything before you take your sleepies?
Yeah, I go out for like a walk around the camp and just practicing like sneaking around. I pull up my cloak of Elvenkind. That's not a cloak of Elvenkind.
Yeah.
just practice like stealthing around people and like if any of the like members of the party are out, I just kind of like tug on their shirt and like surprise them and like
easily enough. Go ahead and make a stealth check for me.
It's a 16.
16, yeah. You feel. Does the cloak give you advantage?
Yeah, so
that was with advantage? Cool. Just making sure. Yeah. You feel pretty stealth from everybody except. I mean, Kelpie would notice you.
Right.
But she's also chilling inside. And I think Pharaoh would notice you. But I also think Pharaoh would still pretend to get scared, like for your ego. Like, oh! Wow! So, make a perception check for me, Rev.
A 19?
19. So you notice that behind the Grand Sea Hall, you notice a long-haired human man with kind of like a scruffy black beard, wearing dark leather armors, talking to a couple other people who seem to be dressed similarly to him. One's a bald man, and one's a woman with short blonde hair that's a little dirty. And they just kind of seem to be talking and seem to be like looking around, making sure that nobody can hear them.
I noticed they're acting like shady, so I like oh, what a perfect chance for me to like practice and also get some information. So
yeah, you stealth on up to them, and let's go ahead and keep the same roll. Their passive perceptions aren't high enough, so you stealth close enough to see them, and you hear them talking, and it's Dominic really who's commanding the conversation. And he says, right, well, I think one of the newcomers may be willing to join us. She seems capable. If not, we can just kill her and take her moondrake. Yeah, I think tomorrow night's gonna be the night. We'll kill Hullix, make sure that Reva's taken care of, and then we will take command of this hell. And we'll get everyone out of here. Get that coward out from his leadership position. And as you're listening to them talk about all of this, Ray, you have walked out of the Grand Sea Hall and are... sorry, go ahead.
Peace.
Oh, peace, yeah. And you walk... Rev, you see Ray walk up to this group. Ray, you see them behind the Grand Sea Hall, exactly where he told you to meet them. And you walk up to them, and Rev, you'll be able to hear this conversation. Dominic looks towards you. We'll actually say, Rev, that you were able to like climb up the portholes of the side of the ship, and you're kind of like perched above them all, like leaning over the ship, listening, because it's like a really open space, so there's not much to hide. So you chose height as your stealth advantage, yeah, you walk up to them, and Dominic turns and looks at you. Ah, glad you were able to join us.
Yeah.
So, do you want to help us save the people of Hell?
I am interested, but I think a lot has happened today, and I think I really would love to hear you out on
Wonderful.
what you think you want to do.
Well, we need to make sure that Captain Hullix and his behemoth bodyguard are taken care of.
Okay.
As you are sitting there talking, another figure begins to approach from the other side, kind of from beneath you, Rev, as they approach the rest of the group. They're wearing a cloak with the hood up, and as they take the hood down, you see Dorvo Holix's son, standing there talking to the rest of the group. And Dominic looks over to him and nods, and then looks back to you, Ray. So, the four of us, I think that we'll be able to make sure that Captain Holix no longer is responsible for the death of any of the citizens of Hell. Isn't that right, Dorvo? And Dorvo, looks down at the ground and then looks back up. My dad's not the same as he used to be. It's time to take matters into our own hands. So are you in?
What's the plan? I can't,
Are you really that naive?
I don't know if it's so much naivety as, it's you're gonna kill him. Is that...
Yes.
That's so boring.
I'm sorry we're not as exciting as you need to be. We don't ride moon drakes in the night.
Yeah, well... How are you gonna do it? How...
Softly, quietly,
Softly?
in the still of tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Okay.
Listen, I'm not just looking to kill a man for no reason. But all of those, and he points to the graveyard again, all of those are on his hands. His own son knows it. We know it. There is a way out of this storm, and we need supplies. We need to be able to build... I don't know. There's ways that we can get out of here, and he's stopping us from doing it, and I'm sick and tired of it. I've only been here 6 months, and it's been the worst 6 months of my life, and I will not spend another day here. We've tried talking to him, we've tried convincing him, and it hasn't worked. So we are going to take matters into our own hands. And you seem capable, and we could use your moondrake as well.
Well, I am capable, so...
So you're in.
I would like to work my crew in as well. I think we could be useful to you. I think that we have a lot of skill that, you might not have. And I think I'd be more comfortable if they were involved.
I need
or
to...
at least we could tell them about it.
Give me just a second.
They held my hand, I feel. Different
Is 19. Make a perception check, Ray and Rev.
Ray and Rev. Spin off. Cool. I have inspiration that you gave me from last game. So
I do.
Roll that. And it was a little bit better. 12.
Rev?
I used a lucky to get a 16.
Okay. Neither of you notice anything in particular. He looks towards you. This is a small operation. We wanted you. I can tell, and he kind of gestures to just your outfit and general,
Existence.
Yeah. I could tell that maybe you were someone who we could rely on. But, the rest of your crew, as you call them, they seem to be a little bit too goody to want to partake in what we have in mind. So, are you in, or are you not? It's a yes or no question, and we need an answer, well, now.
I'm in.
You see, Rev, you don't notice it, Ray, But Rev, you see the pixie-haired, blonde-headed woman step away from Ray and shield a dagger that she had pointed at her back. And but you don't notice that, Ray. Dominic says, "Wonderful. Well, we will meet here tomorrow night after whatever dinner we were able to scrounge up."
Yeah.
Sounds good. Disperse. And everybody just goes in opposite directions. And that is what you... And you witnessed all that, Rev. Okay. So, is there anything else that anybody does throughout the night? Go ahead, Kelpie.
Yeah, one thing. Just over dinner, I want to catch up with my dad, see what he did for the day.
Yeah.
Have a little chit chat. And now that we're on land and near water, not thinking that the water is probably not the best place for this because it's storming. But knowing that I can turn into the crab, which means I can turn into things that swim, but still being terrified and not really actually knowing how to swim. I would ask him to teach me how to swim.
He's sitting down enjoying some fish, and he looks over to you and he says, "Hey, how did things go today? Did you guys figure anything out?"
Yeah, I think so. We think it's is there a lot of people around us?
No, you guys are out of earshot of other people.
Okay. I'll still kind of whisper it and just say,
Yeah.
"We think it's a giant."
Giant what?
Like a giant. I think they said a storm giant. Not exactly sure what that means, but it sounds really big. It's about 40 Atticuses tall.
Are you joking?
No.
Are they sure?
I mean, pretty sure, I think.
Wow.
The crab told us, and he seemed like a reliable crab.
You talk to a crab? You can talk to animals?
Well, if I turn into the animal, I can talk. I speak that animal's language. Atticus can just speak to animals.
You're so cool.
Magic.
Do you know how cool you are? You're
Thanks,
really
Dad.
cool. Of course. Listen. So what are you guys planning to do about that?
We didn't really get that far.
Okay.
But we'll obviously probably try to get there. I don't know how far we can get through the storm, but I think that's going to be like a planning day tomorrow to try to figure out some of that stuff.
So you would want to go with them?
Probably. I mean, I think I have a way. I cast a spell into the storm, and I was able to kind of contain it a little bit. So if we have to go into the storm...
You could contain the storm?
Not contain it as much as, like, it's not as bad, and the lightning only strikes in that space when I tell it to.
Wow. Okay. Listen, Kelpie, I don't know how I feel about you heading into this storm, and if there really is a storm giant out there, you're just a little girl, you know that, right?
Yeah, but sometimes I'm also a giant hyena.
I understand,
and sometimes
but
I'm a crab. Sometimes I'm a spider.
all of those things could easily be crushed by a giant.
True, but if I'm not there to help my friends, then they could be crushed by the giant.
What do you think you'd be able to do?
I don't
Nip
know.
at its big toe?
Well, I'd maybe be a little closer to its size. I could turn into the Vesnian again and bite it. Or I could cast other spells from afar. I still have like a bow, and I have some spells that I can do to it.
Aren't you afraid?
I mean, a little bit, but I also trust my friends, and they've saved me in the past.
Listen, Kelpie, I'll be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I am afraid of losing you after finding you so soon. Or so recently, I should say. And you are a little girl, but you're not a child. And I can tell that. And I can tell that you've been through some experiences that have made you have to grow up pretty fast. And so I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I want you to know that I want you to stay.
Well, I still don't know the plan. So until I know that, I can't know for sure what we're gonna do or what I'm gonna do. But at the least, if I do leave, maybe tomorrow morning, you could, because I haven't really gone into like the ocean or the water much. Me and Mom didn't really like visiting the docks because I think it reminded her of you.
That tracks.
And so I never really. I don't want to say that I'm scared of water, but I definitely don't know how to swim. And so I know you said that I'm not a child, but I still think that that's like a dad thing to do, is to teach me how to swim. So could you, maybe we can start that tomorrow morning?
And you see him kind of like stifle back some tears. And he says, of course. Of course.
Cool.
Cool. And he puts up his hand. And the two of you have a nice little conversation, not really talking about anything else too serious, just laughing. He tells you about some of his stories and adventures on the water. You tell him about some of yours in the jungles. And the rest
I'll show
of
him
you...
my little castle I made for Biscuit, and let Biscuit run around in it.
Love it. And the rest of you find yourselves asleep. Whether it's peaceful or not is yet to be determined, but that is where we will stop for this week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, definitely want to go. Probably catch Ray. More likely, I would want to go grab another one of the level-headed people from the party.
Okay, yeah. Let's
intervention.
So we will.
About what I saw, and that'll probably happen this evening. But I don't. Yeah, we shouldn't get into it now because
it would take too long. Yeah, but for sure, let's take a mental check on that, and we will start with that conversation 2 weeks from now. I think everybody's good 2 weeks from now. Yes. Yeah. Correct. Cool. All right. So next week we are going to be having a one-shot DM'd by the lovely Rev, Ian Pinto. And we will send out on the socials details on that when we have them. But, it's going to be a jolly old time. I can tell you that much. So thank you all. Thank you all for joining us. And I hope you enjoyed. And please stay tuned for next week. And... as always, everybody say bye!
Bye!